is the magic antidote to social collapse, while skimming right past the one question that actually matters. Why do so many men not even see a viable path to marriage anymore?
But I'm always, I think I'm just too old or something. I'm like, why is anyone married?
So they keep us trapped in the safest debate possible. They say divorce rates are dropping.
And the divorce rate is closer to 35%.
The
not
black
50%.
pill responds, no they're not. Back and forth forever. Like if we just win the divorce stat argument, suddenly the West starts having babies again. But here's the darker truth that for women, and therefore men received a modest, silent, submissive, and virtuous chaste virgin on their wedding night. But now, those rules don't apply. The message is clear. Men have to man up, stop being scared, and just commit to marriage while holding.
Young men, we're just gonna cut right to it. Find a woman, fall in love, get married, have more children than you can afford.
You should get married as young as possible.
Yeah, get married and have a ton of kids.
Well, now they say grow up and then get married. And in the past, they said get married and grow up.
You know what else they did back in the good old days? They actually had standards for women, and therefore men received a modest, silent, submissive, and virtuous chaste virgin on their wedding night. But now, those rules don't apply. The message is clear. Men have to man up, stop being scared, and just commit to marriage, while holding the same traditional standards for women makes you a red pillar and an incel. More and more men are voting with their feet and choosing not to get married at all.
I feel obligated to get married, but I'm gonna be honest, I don't really want to.
But why is this happening? In this video, we're gonna follow the data, the incentives, the institutions, and the history to figure out why the marriage crisis happened, why it's accelerating, and who's really benefiting from this collapse. Because one thing is clear, this is more than a crisis, and this might be the most important topic I've ever covered on this channel. This is why. To understand why so many men are walking away from marriage today, you have to understand a brutal but simple truth that offends modern ears. The deal has changed. For most of human history, marriage was not a romantic lifestyle add-on. Men and women were not expected to live the same lives, share the same psychological rhythms, or occupy the same social spaces 24/7. For all of recorded human history, whether you talk about the ancient Greeks, the Roman Empire, or Christendom, a man's life was outward-facing. He went into the world to build, to trade, to fight, to govern, to take risks, to participate in politics, guilds, councils, wars, and public life. The home was not his emotional center, it was his harbor. He came home to a household that ran without him hovering over it, children raised into
What's going on,
order.
gentlemen?
This was never seen as
Nick's
cruelty.
not on
It
yet,
was
but
complementarity. This was rooted in the reality that women must respect their husbands and husbands must love their wives, not the other way around. And how good a wife was came from her obedience and humility. When the head is in disorder, the whole body is destroyed. Therefore God hath assigned to the man the care of public affairs, but to the woman the order of the house, that peace may reign within. And here's the part modern people hate to hear. Marriages were mostly arranged, and yes, divorce rates were dramatically lower. Nobody had to convince men that this was a good deal. Now compare that to
Young men, we're just gonna cut right to it. Find a woman, fall in love, get married, have more children than you can
You
afford.
should get married as young as possible.
Yeah, get married and have a ton of kids.
Well, now they say grow up and then get married. And in the past, they said get married and grow up.
You know what else they did back in the good old days? They actually had standards for women, and therefore men received a modest, silent, submissive, and virtuous chaste virgin on their wedding night. But now, those rules don't apply. The message is clear. Men have to man up, stop being scared, and just commit to marriage, while holding the same traditional standards for women makes you a red pillar and an incel. More and more men are voting with their feet and choosing not to get married at all.
I feel obligated to get married, but I'm gonna be honest, I don't really want to.
But why is this happening? In this video, we're gonna follow the data, the incentives, the institutions, and the history to figure out why the marriage crisis happened, why it's accelerating, and who's really benefiting from this collapse. Because one thing is clear, this is more than a crisis, and this might be the most important topic I've ever covered on this channel. This is why. To understand why so many men are walking away from marriage today, you have to understand a brutal but simple truth that offends modern ears. The deal has changed. For most of human history, marriage was not a romantic lifestyle add-on. Men and women were not expected to live the same lives, share the same psychological rhythms, or occupy the same social spaces 24/7. For all of recorded human history, whether you talk about the ancient Greeks, the Roman Empire, or Christendom, a man's life was outward-facing. He went into the world to build, to trade, to fight, to govern, to take risks, to participate in politics, guilds, councils, wars, and public life. The home was not his emotional center, it was his harbor. He came home to a household that ran without him hovering over it, children raised into order. This was never seen as cruelty, it was complementarity. This was rooted in the reality that women must respect their husbands and husbands must love their wives, not the other way around. And how good a wife was came from her
till last night, and I actually subscribed to him. The dude only has 50,000 subscribers. His name is Lungs of Power, and this guy's going to be a big deal, I think, one day. If you want my honest opinion, I think this guy is going to be a big time streamer. But in a good way. He doesn't seem like a shill to me.
Obedience and
like
humility.
He
When the
just
head
seems
is
like
in
a young
disorder,
cat
the
with
whole
some
body is
good head on
destroyed.
his
Therefore,
shoulder.
God hath assigned to the man the care of public affairs, but to the woman the order of the house, that peace may reign within. And here's the part modern people hate to hear. Trying. Today's conservatives platform freshly baptized 304s on their podcasts and paid them to teach at conservative conventions as, quote, Christian female leaders, while over on Instagram they still dance around in booty shorts and a face full of seductive makeup.
And I don't deal well with judgment. I'm a very rebellious person when it comes up to judgment.
And the same guys telling young men that modern marriage is a great deal end up doing their wives' motherly duties and can't smoke a cigar in their own house. Yet knowing all of this, the so-called right-wing media love rushing young guys into marriage and selling it like it's the magic antidote to social collapse, while skimming right past the one question that actually matters. Why do so many men not even see a viable path to marriage anymore?
But I'm always, I think I'm just too old or something. I'm like, why is anyone married?
So they keep us trapped in the safest debate possible. They say divorce rates are dropping.
And the divorce rate is closer to 35%.
The
not
black
50%.
pill responds, no they're
lungs
not.
of
Back and
power.
forth forever. Like if we just win the divorce stat argument, suddenly
Lungs
the
of
West
faith,
starts
lungs of
having
faith,
babies
excuse me.
again. But here's the darker truth that both the neocon right wing and the red pill and black pill grifters get wrong. Divorce isn't the bottleneck. That's just the topic that keeps ad revenue flowing and keeping female audiences at bay. The reality is that even if divorce rates magically hit 0% tomorrow, even if you banned no-fault divorce overnight, you still wouldn't get a marriage revival because the main obstacle is not legal risk. It's match scarcity. It's a widening gap in worldview and life goals, especially as huge numbers of women have radically moved leftwards and career first, while men's expectations for what a wife
traditional
is
man.
haven't moved nearly as much. What has shifted, though, is the female formation. A lot of women have been trained to treat marriage less like a vow of mutual sacrifice and more like a lifestyle accessory, and the reasons for that are much more sinister than you think, and I'll get to that in a bit, but we don't have to guess. When you survey unmarried adults who actually desire to marry, the top reason they're still single isn't "I'm afraid of divorce court." It's brutally simple. It's hard to find the right person to marry. That's 58%, the number one answer. Now here's where it gets interesting because it exposes the contradiction that nobody wants to sit with. AEI points out that 45% of college-educated single women say they're single largely because they can't find someone who meets their expectations. And at the same time, Pew Research shows that the modern young female priority stack has shifted. 2/3 of women 18 to 34 rate career as a major life priority, up from 56% in the late 90s. So translate that into plain English. Both sides are looking at the market and saying, where are the marriageable options? But they don't even mean the same thing by marriageable. Men are thinking, is she submissive, faithful, home-oriented, willing to build a family? And on the flip, women are thinking, how much of a modern woman can I get away with being while still receiving the benefits of a traditional husband?
Marriage and kids is way more important.
If you really believe that, then why are you here working on your career?
You're not making any sense.
Does he look good on my IG posts, support my modern expectations across status, lifestyle, and career ambitions without limiting my modern individualism? And the boomers act shocked when nothing connects, which is why this whole just get married script starts sounding less like leadership and more like a grift. So let's stop chasing the decoy. Let's talk about the bottleneck. How did we get here and what's keeping us here? The real problem becomes clear when we look inside the female mind and analyze what they actually look for in a man these days. Trends in recent analysis show a few highly concerning things. One, that women are actually no longer really attracted to men. I'll get to that. And two, that most women have absolutely zero clue what they're looking for in a relationship. I almost lost my mind while researching for this script, so please I ask all of you to kindly support the channel through buymeacoffee.com/lungsoffaith, because I'm a one-man team and your support is what keeps this content coming. And something new I'm doing is that supporters at $50 plus a month are listed as producers and have real input on topics for future episodes. Back to the plot. When researchers first surveyed women's mate preferences in 1939, ambition and industriousness ranked as the most important traits in a future husband. By the 1990s, those same traits had fallen to 9th place, and in more recent replications, it's even lower. In fact, many Gen Z women see it as a red flag. A strong modern finding is that very high ambition can signal, I won't be warm, supportive, or available. In a 2022 paper surveying 13 large sample studies showed that male targets with highly ambitious goals were judged less warm and as having less relationship potential. But what replaced them? Traits like good personality, emotional maturity, and compatibility. Qualities that, while not bad in themselves, are coded as softer, more relational, and yes, more feminine. In fact, strangely enough, these are actually the biggest traits men look for in their future wife, yet those wife expectations are being projected onto men. Now, don't let any of this fool you. This isn't a generation of women who have suddenly risen in humility and no longer see men bringing in money as important, seeing the virtues of a poor and simple life as good. In fact, quite the opposite. In a 2025 survey of Gen Z daters, the average ideal annual income women expected from a partner was about 6 figures or more. About 1 in 10 Gen Z women said they're looking for someone earning $200,000 plus. The average income is about $60,000 in the US, so women self-report that they want both a man who earns 6 figures and yet somehow doesn't have high ambitions at the same time. So like, where is this money going to come from? How are we going to earn 6 figures in a year in 2026 while not having either a big growing business or selling drugs? Why do we even survey them at this point? I think this is maybe where we begin to learn to stop listening to women's opinions. But if you thought this was bad, just wait, because these contradictions only keep getting more childish and frankly more hilarious as we go along. Pew found 71% of women say a man must be able to financially support a family, more than double what men expect from women. And I mean, it makes sense, but now this is where, while doing the research for this script, I think I started developing gray hairs. Get this. Women are also 2 to 3 times more likely to reject a partner who earns less than they do. Now, do you want to know what's funny about that? Young women in North America now on average earn about the same or even out-earn men in most metro areas and spreading. So if what women are saying is true, then that's bad news for basically 80% of the male population. That's not me making this up. This is women's own standards folding in on themselves in a contradiction. Now, why and how on earth did we get here? How did women's expectations become so contradictory? Why is a whole generation of young men being gaslit for a problem they didn't create? How did a wife's role shift from being protected to being worshipped? And how does all of this seem to perfectly coincide with the Socialist Manifesto written over 150 years ago? It all begins to make sense when we realize that basically none of this was organic, and the roots go far deeper than the sexual revolution. That's why when we analyze the incentives, the money flow, and the social engineering, we can not only begin to make sense of all of this data, but we can clearly see what's coming next. Now, the truth is, if we're going to fight the degeneracy of this culture, we can't do it while we're compromised ourselves. The reality is that if you don't actually want to quit, no app.
Like, I was thinking about this last night after I watched this. Dude, I wrote like 20 freaking index cards just slapped full of what I was thinking. And, you know, these women, they're like, I heard somebody refer to women, the difference as in like women are more empathetic, more emotionally intelligent, and that's total cope. That's them saying, yeah, women are dumber without hurting women's feelings. At least in my opinion, that's them, you know, it's kind of a cope, sugarcoating, but they're just feelings. They don't even understand their emotions. They have no idea what they're like. They're not introspective. They're capricious. Whatever they feel at the moment, they go with. They don't actually stop to think about it. And it pisses me off when they say emotionally intelligent, because it's like, you know, that's propaganda. You're gaslighting. They're not any of those things. They're not more empathetic. They're insane. I mean, like, if anything, like it gets to an absurd level, like with the ice stuff.
Earth or anybody is going to do it for you. But if you, like many others, have a firm resolve that you no longer want to be a slave to porn, Relay could be a valid next step, offering practical support systems, providing group accountability. So last century, and most notably in the last decade, the mainstream has been carefully engineering and rewarding a very specific male archetype. safe, emotionally expressive, agreeable, non-confrontational, endlessly validating, but somehow yet still competent and successful and confident and high status. Start with psychology. In 2018, the American Psychological guidelines for working with boys and men that frame traditional masculine ideology as harmful. Once one of the largest psychological bodies on earth encodes that language into best practice, it doesn't stay in PDFs. Although it might be promoted by them, it filters into therapist training, school counseling scripts, healthy masculinity workshops, HR compliance language, psychoanalytic language, then into parenting, into the default moral reflex when a firm man is unsafe and a boundary is control and leadership is insecurity. Then pediatrics piles on. The American Academy of Pediatrics has openly pushed parents away from spanking and towards positive discipline. So a whole generation grows up in a world where authority is negotiation, correction feels like harm, and consequences are treated like trauma. Then the NGO layer industrializes it. Equimundo, formerly Promundo, runs the Caring Masculinity Fund, which receives $20 million from Melinda French Gates via Pivotal Ventures in 2024, supporting global programs to promote men as caregivers and counter traditional masculine norms. That's a lot of money. Global Fund for Children pushes boys beyond bias and healthy masculinities, backed by major UK public funding, and has invested $56 million into 1,000 plus organizations. Add in big name funders like Ford, Open Society, and Foundation Chanel. Now keep some of these names like Open Society in the back of your mind, because they'll be relevant later. And here's the punchline. What looks like millions of independent groups is often one big funding pipeline. An OECD report in 2021 notes that 10 major foundations account for 97% of cross-border philanthropic giving to gender equality in developing countries, and there are 1.8 million NGOs in the US, yet private funding is concentrated among fewer than 100 major foundations and corporations. The top 10 to 20 are especially dominant, and we'll go over their ideology and why they have so much in common in a bit. It's much darker than you think. The next step is for media to seal it and to package it and to make it normalized, and this is the part people really underestimate because they think that movies and ads are just entertainment.
That's right, you sad excuse of a man. You've been rendered completely helpless by a woman.
But I do wonder, as a third-wave feminist, if it's even possible for women to reclaim their sexuality in this deeply entrenched patriarchal society.
Take the word semester, okay? This is a perfect example of this school's discriminatory preference of semen to ovaries. That's why I'm petitioning to have next term be referred to as the winter
I'm tired of this
Common
shit.
Sense Media's Watching Gender Review flat out summarizes decades of research and argues that kids' TV and movies do in fact shape beliefs about how boys and girls should behave. So it's clear, media does shape.
I just caught this YouTube video last night, and this guy's he's Lungs of Faith. It's a really good one. Watching it while waiting for
We think about ourselves. So what stories did we feed an entire generation? Brave in 2012. Tradition and marriage framed as the cage to escape. Father is lovable but ineffective and quite pathetic. Authority becomes a joke, something that's negotiable and can be argued with. Tangled in 2010 and Moana in 2016. That she doesn't need a man arc goes mainstream. Romance gets minimized or removed. Heroism becomes personal destiny and self-definition.
Are not my hero.
Then corporate advertising pours gasoline on it. Gillette literally reruns its legacy slogan, the best a man can get, as a lecture on toxic masculinity with the now famous We Believe campaign, and backs it with a $1 million per year for 3 years donation commitment. That's not a neutral cultural moment. That's capital and institutions rewarding one direction of manhood and punishing the other. And it doesn't stop at one brand. There are coordinated transnational efforts to standardize good messaging across advertising and media.
The transition from the industrial to the intelligent age is occurring at an exponential pace.
But what does this mean for our mindsets? Do we in fact need to reset our mindsets for this future, a very different future, because maybe what we've learned so far isn't going to be so useful?
Think of this. Humans have been on the planet for hundreds of thousands of years. And this guy's saying everything, all our traditions, everything we've learned isn't going to be useful. Where the fuck do these people get off thinking that they can socially, and they can do it better than the aggregate human consciousness over hundreds of thousands of years. What humans have discovered works after hundreds of thousands of years. These guys think they can do it better. They couldn't even run the government of the Soviet Union. And these assholes want to do it from top to bottom. They want to do the society from when you're born, cradle to grave. Dude, that's insane, man. I mean, and the reason why I'm not so scared about this is because they're going to fail. There's no way they're going to be able to do that. Nature always finds a way, as the great Ian Malcolm said.
We are missing in our society two fundamental pillars. It's truth and it's trust.
The UN Women's Unstereotype Alliance explicitly targets all media and advertising content, and UN Women reported global memberships around 240 companies with 12 national chapters. Now zoom out and connect it to propaganda mechanics, because this isn't new, and we don't have to look any further than Edward Bernays.
Most people listening know who Sigmund Freud was, but for purposes of this discussion, who was he?
For this discussion, he was Eddie Bernays' uncle. He was the man who told him exactly how to understand human psychology and how to use it. And while Freud was using psychology to try to basically free people from their emotional bonds, his nephew took a different lesson from it. He used psychology and an understanding of why people behave the way they do to help tie them to his clients, be they companies or politicians.
The godfather of modern PR, where basically every modern corporation utilizes his principles, and he explains to us that, quote, "Women are just as subject to the commands of invisible government as are men," and then immediately describes how industry can create demand by persuading a popular actress, pushing the idea through media, and reorganizing supply to meet it. The plain English is this: if you can route social instincts through women's tastes and status cues, you can rewire the whole household, because women were wired to become the sexual gatekeepers, and if men want sex, they're going to have to behave. And the woman's idea of behavior is
Tell me that doesn't send a shiver up your spine.
what society has programmed her to believe. That's how they control the household.
And I found that ideas were weapons and were even more effective than bullets.
So when girls grow up with traditional masculinity being pathologized, mocked, and retrained, what do you think they'll select for when it's time for them to get married? They'll select for the safe man, agreeable, emotionally fluent, feminine, non-confrontational, who won't challenge, won't correct, and won't impose limits, because that's how their father was, that's how their grandfather was, that's how everybody they knew was. And women always look up to the men in their life for examples. And that's how you end up with a generation of women that demand provider outcomes while being trained to distrust the traits required to produce them. One of the most jarring examples of the shift is recorded in our media outcomes. In the 1980s, actors like Mel Gibson, Sean Connery, Tom Cruise, Richard Gere, and Brad Pitt were ranked as the most attractive men by young women. They all happen to be traditionally masculine men with rugged and unkempt looks, playing action star roles heavily associated with leadership, danger, and risk-taking. Fast forward to 2025, where females were asked to pick who the most attractive men are. Guys like Pedro Pascal, Timothée Chalamet, and the current sexiest man alive, who was Jonathan Bailey, who made history as the first openly Skittles recipient of the title. So get this, the most attractive man, according to women in 2025, is Skittles. Someone who isn't even attracted to women. Let that sink in. And it gets even worse when you look at the characters they portray.
And they're going to have you introduce yourself.
Let's see your nails.
Oh, yes, of course.
They're very nice. Yeah, they're very beautiful. You're welcome.
Pedro Pascal has even taken on the title of Daddy of the Internet, which is a title he happily accepts.
Daddy is a state of mind, you know what I'm saying? I'm your daddy.
And women are depicted as going crazy for him. Female Reddit commenters answer the question of what makes him so attractive, citing reasons like his openness and that he feels safe.
I want people to be safe and to be protected, and I want very much to live on the right side of history.
Now, these are just a handful of examples among thousands, but what it tells us is simple. You're not watching preferences evolve in a vacuum. You're watching a manufactured incentive structure, and the dating market is just downstream from it. Here's where it gets truly relentless, and we see these preferences getting baked into real-life consequences, because this isn't just messaging. Recently, in British Columbia, a father who opposed his child's gender transition and repeatedly violated court orders and a publication ban was sentenced
Nick is on. I think so, anyway.
Need to help.
Oh, I guess not. It was counting down and he put up his
certain treatments on their own behalf, so long as they were able to understand the repercussions. At 14 years old, a large focus on the court's decision also applied to the father's conduct. The father had been publicly vocal about his objections to his son's attempts at transitioning and repeatedly, quote, misgendered his son in doing so. The behavior had led the mother to seek a declaration that the father's actions constituted family violence, which would have enabled her to obtain a protection order against him. Instead, the appeals court chose to issue a conduct order against the father, limiting his ability to speak about his child publicly. Further, the father was ordered to refer to his son by the child's preferred pronouns and name. The signal to every other parent is obvious. Step outside the script publicly, and not only will you be shamed by the system, but you can lose everything. The same tactics of the reign of terror. Fright is might. Take a real-life example of this fear made manifest, and even worse, it's in the traditional Christian sphere. The Hillary Crowder story illustrates this perfectly. She was marketed as the ideal trad wife in a high-profile Christian conservative marriage to Steven Crowder, a vocal advocate of traditional roles, no-fault divorce reform, and lifelong marital commitment. Yet Hillary filed for divorce in late 2021, with Steven announcing it publicly in April 2023, claiming it wasn't his choice and lamenting the no-fault laws that allowed her unilateral decision.
Well, I guess let me be clear here. I have been living with a proverbial boot on my neck for going on years now. Since 2021, I've been living through what has increasingly been a horrendous divorce. Now, let me say on the outset, to be clear, no, this was not my choice.
Yet she took everything public. Leaked ring camera footage from a 2021 argument showed Steven being a little mean to her over wifely duties, which quickly got Steven labeled as an abuser, with TradCon influencers like Candace Owens rushing to give his ex-wife a platform.
And the video essentially reveals just how emotionally abusive he has been.
If you watch the actual video, I mean, it's obviously not perfect, but I think people have had worse fights. Now, the contradictions are hilarious. These women's self-awareness levels are basically at zero. A notable recent example, in July 2025, she posted that the most alpha thing a man can do is marry and be faithful to a good woman for the entirety of his life, and to be willing to storm the gates of hell to stay married to her. This embodies the reality of covert Christian feminism. It blends traditional values where convenient with modern feminist tools like no-fault divorce, public shaming, and alliance with critics. On the other hand, men are held to an absolute standard. No excuses, no exit, fully committed, and no chance of walking away, while the woman who walks away retains moral authority to redefine true manhood and good Christian wifehood. Excuses are made for her alleged.
Bro, she played the public like a fiddle, like a cheap fiddle, man. I mean, a lot of people were fooled by her. And then, you know, after everything was over and he could come out and say what happened, boy, she looked like a demon, dude. Just an evil human being. That's pretty much how the bulk of them are.
Abuse, allegations, reasons, personal unhappiness, but men's commitment still non-negotiable. We ought to storm the gates. That's the pattern. Selective traditionalism plus modern tools. No-fault exit, public shaming, and moral authority after walking away. So by the time we're talking about dating and marriage, you're not dealing with preferences. You're dealing with formation. And don't worry, the next generation of Hillary Crowders is brewing. All you have to do is scroll a Christian dating app as a man to find the glaring lack of marriageable women. You'll find profiles labeled as, quote, very conservative, and, quote, weekly mass attendee, paired with photos indistinguishable from mainstream Instagram hoe culture. Bios full of lines like, quote, my love language is physical touch. These are really weird standards to have as a traditional Catholic. But instead of recognizing that traditionally masculine men actually want traditionally feminine women, these same women go online to complain about it. Where are the girls finding good Catholic guys? And one responds, for real, girl, the one practicing Catholic man I know has, quote, take the red pill as their Instagram bio. Bro, exactly. A lot of Catholic guys I see online are those types of guys, which is so repulsive. And since I highly doubt that these Catholic red pillars in question are vocal advocates of polygamy and sexual degeneracy, as those are contrary to core Catholic dogmas, it's safe to assume that what these women are critiquing as the red pill is really men who demand submission, femininity, and traditional values, which are actually core Christian values. They won't admit that they just don't like Christianity. The same thread later vindicates our suspicion. Christian. Quote, Catholic men are too rigid about gender roles. They don't want their wife to have a career or travel. It's easier to date Protestants than Catholics. Others add, directing them at men, be careful that you're not looking to be served. Quote, men need to cook, clean, and change diapers. Household chores aren't masculine or feminine. So one thing is clear. The octopus of Marxist thought has...
When it comes down to it, men didn't buy into this bull. We didn't buy into it. You know, they seem to think that we were just going to take more and more control, more and more demonization, more and more gaslighting. Nah, everybody just said, you know, this ain't worth it no more. No thanks. No thanks. Just gonna, you know, kick it at the house and enjoy my money rather than pissing it down the drain while, you know, I work a full-time job, and then when I come home, I'm doing dishes and laundry. Man, go pound sand with that. I'm good.
Spread its tentacles to all of the corners of society, even the most traditional. Now, at this point, you're wondering, who benefits from all of this? Why do these global elites, NGOs, think tanks spend so much resource and so much money on changing women's worldviews, and specifically white, Caucasian, ethnographic European women? To understand this better, we need to go back in time, before World War II, before World War I, and actually before the 20th century entirely, because when the socialists and sexual revolution declared war on the family, it said that the end goal was to replace the father with the state, to monopolize power and to maintain a tight grip on society.
That is so fucking...
George Bernard Shaw, the founder of the Fabian Society, one of the most Forum, the London School of Economics, tells us the plan himself. Quote, the only fundamental and possible socialism is the socialization of the selective breeding of man. End quote. If we desire a certain type of civilization and culture, we must exterminate the sort of people who do not fit into it.
There are an extraordinary number of people whom I want to kill, and I think it would be a good thing to make everybody come before a properly appointed board, just that he might come before the income tax commissioners, and say every 5 years or every 7 years, just put him there and say, sir or madam, now will you be kind enough to justify your existence?
When women are backlashing against their, you know, like they don't want to accept the biological reality, that's them shaking their fist at God. Like that's so childish. It's so arrogant. I mean, it's literally the antithesis of Christianity. You like to think that, you know, you understand things like that, but they're shaking their fist at God. Like, how dare you have made me a woman? Damn you. You know, and they think you know, feminine coded work like housework and stuff, that's somehow less than. No, it's not less than, it's equal to, I mean, it blows my mind how these feminists have twisted stuff that's been necessary for thousands of years and made women think that it's less than, when I've never thought it was less than. I mean, it just kind of blows my mind.
If you can't justify your existence, if you're not pulling your weight in the social boat,
Yeah, start. I'll play the last like 5 or 10 minutes at the end stream. Yeah, you know, that work is important, especially when you live single for a couple of years. You understand that, you know, your house, things will pile up. It will be, if you don't stay on top of it and continually clean every day, clean a little bit, you'll end up in a pigsty. And, you know, honestly, I don't take for granted a woman's value, because they have that stick-to-itiveness when it comes to chores. I don't quite have it. You know, I'll let it go for a week, kind of a thing. I'll clean everything up at once, like once a week. Try to take the mute off the
Back here with you tonight on Thursday. We have a lot to talk about tonight, lots to get into. Big show. Our featured story, we're talking all about ICE. Uh-oh. What's going on with mass deportations? I thought that was still happening. What's going on, guys? We getting what we voted for? Are we getting what we voted for? Remember that? Got what I voted for? Yeah. Well, now it's February 2026, and it's already done. And it's already cooked. You're finished.
Oh, rub
it's
it in.
over. They're already telling us. So funny. I saw a tweet today from one of these Republicans. They said,
he can look very menacing when he does that. You're done. You're done. He looks quite menacing, you know, like if I would imagine he could scare somebody if he wanted.
We got to get it back on track in 2026. And then we're going to push through to 28. It's like, wow. We're already doing that, huh? So we'll get into it tonight. Our featured story, we're talking about this new Trump interview on NBC. Did you see this? Get a load of this. Trump goes on NBC, and they finally ask him the question. They say, are we still doing mass deportations or not? They said, are we deporting every illegal alien or just the criminals? He says, just the criminals. He said, we're going to focus on the criminals, just the criminals. That's what we're doing.
Awesome.
And then he proceeds to totally undercut everything they've been doing. He says we need a softer touch. He said the death of those agitators was a tragedy and a mistake, and they shouldn't have died. They're going to put body cameras on ICE because it's like George Floyd all over again. And here's to top it all off, Tom Homan says they're withdrawing 700 ICE agents from the city. And they're going to prepare to withdraw all the ICE agents that were deployed in this special operation. Amazing. And what's amazing about it, do you remember when all of this went down 3 or 4 weeks ago in January? Renee Good was shot. Very quickly, Alex Preddy was shot. It was obvious this was going to happen.
Quickly.
Anybody with eyeballs could see. Anybody with a brain could see that Trump was going to cave. That's where it was headed. That is what he was signaling towards. It was so obvious. Do you remember what people were saying on the timeline, the kind of delusion? I saw one guy, they're all armchair generals, all LARPing like they're tacticians. I saw one guy saying, no, this is what you want to happen. This is a war of attrition, and the left has to deploy their reserves, and their supply lines are long, and Trump is... Yeah, it's 5-dimensional chess, right? It's always 5-dimensional chess. It's all part of the plan. The cope in January was unbelievable. Every day, these Trump shills. It's like Trump derangement syndrome in the other direction. These Trump shills were on Twitter every single day saying, see, Trump isn't backing down. See, he's not totally going to cave. Okay, well, he obviously is now. Total surrender, total capitulation, total walk back in every way. It's just not even a question anymore. They pulled Bovino out. They took 700 ICE agents out. They say they're going to take more ICE agents out. They're putting body cameras on them. Trump says it's a softer touch. You have Homan over there giving a press conference saying, yeah, it's not perfect and we're making mistakes and we're going to correct everybody. And in the end, Trump says no more mass deportations of illegal aliens. Told you so. I told you it would be this way. So we'll get into that. We're also going to talk tonight about the negotiations with Iran, which are going to take place in only a few hours. 10 a.m. Middle East time. Steve Witkoff and the foreign minister of Iran will negotiate indirectly in Muscat, in Oman, in the Gulf, the Arabian Peninsula. And it looks like this is going to be the final ultimatum before we go to war. And the United States has issued a proposal. This is going to be a framework. And this is in collaboration with, I believe it's 7 other Muslim countries: Egypt, Turkey, Emirates, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Pakistan. I think that's, and Oman. I believe Oman is the 7th there. I didn't count them just now, but those are all the countries that are coming together. It's a multilateral negotiation. These countries begged the United States to reconsider negotiations after they were canceled a couple of days ago over Iran's request to change the venue at the last minute. The United States agreed to the venue change. They moved it to Oman, and they agreed to do the talks and follow through. These countries put together a framework proposal that includes a non-aggression pact, I guess it's called, a mutual non-aggression agreement. Iran agrees not to use its missiles against the United States or its allies. The United States agrees not to attack Iran or its allies.
I like that.
Iran
That sounds
agrees no enrichment for 3 years. After that, they can enrich at 1.5%. Iran gives up its highly enriched uranium stockpile to a third country. And this was the framework proposal. Here's the problem. Iran has not changed its position. They have not come off of their red line, which is that they don't want to negotiate about anything. They don't even want to talk about missiles. They don't even want to talk about proxies. And as far as enrichment is concerned, they don't want to stop enriching uranium. So that position has not changed at all. And the same is true with the United States. It seems that even to this day, this morning, there's some last-minute confusion. What even is the U.S. position? The Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, insists that we're still going to try to negotiate on missiles, proxies, nuclear. So long story short, we are at an impasse. These are irreconcilable differences still. It hasn't changed at all since a year ago, since 2018, when the original JCPOA was torn up. Nothing has changed. And so if this is the last meeting, if this is a take it or leave it proposal, well, it looks like Iran is going to leave it. And that means we're going to war. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Like I said, those negotiations are going to start in only a few hours. So we should know soon, before tomorrow afternoon, what the outcome is going to be. At the last minute, there was a warning by the United States for all U.S. citizens to leave Iran. People are freaking out. I wouldn't be too concerned about that. That's just a signal. Obviously, it's an indication that the United States is gearing up for war. It's just a signal. They're just telling Iran, hey, we're serious. We're going to war. I don't think it tells us anything, actually. Wouldn't read too much into it. But we'll talk about all that. It's going to be a great show. I'm sorry I wasn't here last night. Honestly, I woke up at 9 o'clock. I was like asleep in the evening. I took like a nap. I woke up at 9 o'clock and it was, you know, when you wake up and you're just like, you want to go right back to bed. I like woke up at 9, checked my phone. I was like, nope, no way. So I barely even typed it out. I'm like, not doing a show tonight. I'll be back tomorrow. I just went back to bed. But I'm here tonight, and yeah, it's going to be a good show. Before we get into the news, I want to remind you to smash the follow button, smash the like button, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about the show.
Subscription.
I read the comments. Check out our merch store, Fuentes.store. Get your USA quarter zip. Get the USA quarter zip. You got to show it off. This is now like a cultural artifact. This is like a serious cultural artifact. It's like the AF hat. It's like the I'm with Groyper t-shirt. You're going to want this. This is now becoming like a collectible item. We're not going to sell it forever. We're probably going to take it off the store, who knows, in a few weeks, maybe a few years. And it's going to become like a collectible. You're going to want this to be a part of your collection. You don't want to miss out on this. This is an historic moment. Even if you don't agree with it, it's iconic, indisputably. So check it out, Fuentes.store. Subscribe to show your support for an America First Plus membership. People are always asking me, what can I do for the movement? Give me your money. $15 a month, that's not a lot of money. You give the Jews at Netflix far more. $15 a month, America First Plus. You get access to the whole archive, plus MP3 format for everything, RSS feed, all of it. It's on the site. I think it works better than Rumble. Subscription site has more content, better than Rumble, and it's a great way to support the show. If you really want to support us, $100 a month, and you get access to a group chat with me. I've been in there all day today. Yeah, testimonials will tell you I was in there all day today talking about everything, talking about immigration, about Elijah Schaefer, about all this stuff, all the drama, all the latest. It's really happening in that group chat. So I didn't do a show yesterday, but they were getting content because they are the rich. Those that have will have more. Those that have less, even what little content they have will be taken away from them. No show for you. $100, different story. So check it out, AmericaFirst.plus. One other thing before we get into the show. I have been called out again by the Vice President of the United States, J.D. Vance. Today, in an interview, he formally condemned me. Oh, wow. And once again, he's trying to convince me to eat shit. I don't know what to say at this point. I don't want your shit, okay? I know that's what they do in India. I know that's maybe what happens at your dinner table. I don't want it. I don't want your shit. Stop trying to get me to eat shit. I see this interview. He says, oh, I seem to recall I told Nick Fuentes to eat shit. So,
oh, goodness,
listen, man, on Twitter. I know that's how they roll where your wife is from. Good for you. I don't need any cultural enrichment. I don't want it. I don't want any of that. Thanks, but no thanks. I'm trying to be polite. I said no once. Now it's becoming sort of an imposition. It's getting to be a little bit impolite. I don't want it. Okay? I try to be nice. I politely declined. Now I have to refuse. I'm not eating it. So save it for the Indian Cultural Festival at the Naval Observatory. I'm good. I like hamburgers. I like hot dogs. I like fried chicken. I'll have the butter chicken, okay? Pass the butter chicken, all right. The curry, I'll try it. The shit, that's a little too far for me. That's a little too much cultural enrichment. It's a little too third world. I'm not that adventurous when it comes to that sort of thing, so I see the statement. He says, I condemn Nick Fuentes. I told him to eat shit. I said, buddy, I know that I did not participate in your cultural festival, but you got to let it go. I will say, though, after he officially condemned me, I am now officially Never Vance. So he said that on the interview. He said, I condemn Nick Fuentes and his supporters. Well, then we condemn you. J.D. Vance is officially condemned by the real America First. He is condemned by the real Americans. He's condemned by the Groypers. And you just lost a huge chunk of support or potential support. You condemn me? Well, then don't complain when we don't vote for you. We are not voting for you. I am not voting for you. I am not telling anybody to vote for you.
Bro, and guess who's like their number one ally? India. The juice.
I don't care if you're the nominee. I don't care if you win the primary. You are not getting my vote. So you just made a big mistake. Off to a rough start there. I will reserve my endorsement for a candidate that is actually willing to put America first over Israel.
Americans.
I'm saving my endorsement for someone that is putting America first over India. We don't need another president that puts H-1B Indians and their shit and Israel first Jews and their money over the United States of America. I condemn you. I condemn your liberal wife. I condemn your sugar daddy, Peter Thiel. I condemn Little Tech. I condemn you and your America Last administration. You should worry about this catastrophe, which is the second term. You got no mass deportations. You got no peace with Russia. You're going to war with Iran. The economy is taking a shit. And you're on an interview condemning me. I condemn you, and I condemn this failing administration. Why don't you do your job? Why don't you march your little fat ass down to the Oval Office and tell this president to start deporting millions of people like you promised to do? Because if you don't, it's your ass in 2028. I got a news flash for you, pal.
I'm going to fucking make it my motherfucking mission. Dog with a
You
bone.
can
He
tell
ain't gonna get
J.D. Vance and all these Republican boosters, they think that we're all going to swallow a J.D. Vance candidacy in 2028, and he doesn't have to fight for it. But they got another thing coming.
Fuck them.
J.D. Vance is the vice president. As far as I'm concerned,
fucking up.
he owns the failures that are happening in this administration. He owns it. You
They're his
resisted the
children.
Epstein files. You have not deported nearly enough people. We are on our way to strike Iran again. You're on an interview talking about a live streamer.
Bro.
You're on NBC condemning the Groypers. You need to focus up. You need to get your head in the game. Stop giving speeches. Stop throwing yourself in front of the cameras every time it concerns an issue that you know is going to be a campaign ad in 2028.
It's disgusting.
And why don't you start governing? Why don't you start using that executive power? Why don't you start doing things then? I'm not sold on that. I don't think anybody's sold on that, and I don't think anybody is sold on you.
Yeah,
We
he
don't
has
even know
no
who
room
you are.
to be speaking the way he is.
You know
it's
what
a
I was
foregone
doing in
conclusion.
2016? I was knocking on doors for President Trump. You voted for Evan McMullin.
Called Trump.
In 2017, I was at Charlottesville. You were on CNN calling Trump a Nazi and praising Obama. And tomorrow night on my show on Friday, I'm doing a special. We are going to talk about all of Jeffrey Epstein's connection to this administration. And that's going to be a problem for you, buddy. Tomorrow night, we're doing a big special. We are going to map out all of Jeffrey Epstein's connections, in particular to this Trump administration.
My boy's loaded for bear now.
Howard Lutnick and Leon Black and Les Wexner and Peter Thiel and Reid Hoffman. All of it. We're going in. You want to play this game? All right, let's play.
Get in that
Here's the
ass,
difference. You want to be the president of the United States. I'm a live streamer. You want to go to war with me? You want to go to war with the Groypers?
Fuck around and
Here's the
find out,
difference.
bro.
You need young white men to turn out and vote for you. You are asking for something from us. You are trying to be the president. I'm a live streamer. I can do this all day.
Yeah.
I can do this all day, pal. You want to go to war with me? I don't think you're going to like how that winds up for you.
I think so either.
So that's my response to the vice president of the United States. I can eat shit. You eat shit.
This Vance doesn't realize
You
how
tell
locked
Usha
in the
Vance,
Groypers are.
prepare another course of shit for you and your family while you go to India and advocate for H-1B visas. We're not eating that shit. Nobody's on board with that, pal. So anyway, so that's J.D. Vance. Crazy how we have beef with this guy. Isn't that wild? We have beef with the vice president of the... He's beefing with me. J.D. Vance is beefing with me.
What a little bitch. punching down.
And you could tell he was tilted about it. I don't know if you saw the clip, but they start asking him about me, and he starts nervously laughing. I thought I told that guy to eat crap. And what do you mean by his supporters? I don't know what supporters means. Don't get too tilted. Don't get rattled. Don't get nervous. And you know what? People are always asking me, who are we going to vote for in 2028? If not Vance, then who? You never know what's around the corner. I've got a few ideas. I'll tell you this. I don't think we're going to have to settle for J.D. Vance. I'll say that much. And I think the further that Trump slides into the shit, look, Trump is becoming a toxic asset. He's becoming a liability. And the further he falls, the more that race is going to open wide up. You're overconfident.
I think he is too, big time.
So,
dude, you're a year in.
That's my warning. That's my admonition for Vance. The other thing I wanted to say, one other thing before we, and by the way, you know, in the end, that is what it is going to come down to. I want everybody to realize the big political struggle of the next 2 years is against J.D. Vance. That's it.
Mm-hmm. I'm down with that.
So people are talking about my position on Venezuela and on Charlie Kirk and on Epstein and all this stuff. Let me tell you something. The only thing that's going to matter in the next couple of years is whether you are for this artifice that is being foisted upon us or whether you're against it. That's all you really need to know.
Simple as it.
The Jewish thing has in some ways become convoluted, but if you are in favor of this Silicon Valley creation, this Israel first artifice, CIA asset, if you are in favor of him being installed, that's all I need to know. Look at who's behind him. Peter Thiel and David Sachs and Tucker Carlson. This guy is a creation of the deep state.
Frankenstein, bro.
This guy is a representative of Silicon Valley and the tech industry. He's a representative of the intelligence agencies. He's not even a real human being. J.D. Vance isn't even a real name.
Yeah,
That's not even a real person.
He started going by that in like 2015.
He didn't become J.D. Vance until he was 28 years old. I'm 27.
That's crazy.
So could you imagine if next year I changed my name and started going by Vance? That would be totally insane. This is not even a real person. If you are trying to foist this on the American public as the successor to Donald Trump and the MAGA movement,
piss off.
You are not our friend. So that's going to be the real fight. And I'm very curious to see how that all shakes out and who's going to be on what side. You can't be railing against the war in Gaza and all these things that have been happening, this Trump administration, which is a complete flop by design, and then go and shill for Vance in 28. Keep a very close eye because it's already so fake. I look on Twitter. Anytime you call out J.D. Vance, the bots come in. Anytime you criticize J.D. Vance, they have already paid for the media. All these people come in hot out of the group chat in the replies, the quote tweets. I saw some guy say, it's so third world to criticize J.D. Vance. Third world? Dude, he's married to the third world. I said, I'm never Vance. You have one of these LARPing MAGA accounts that says, oh, that's really third world to be against Vance. Third world? You want to see the third world? Go to J.D. Vance's house on Thanksgiving. That's the third world, right? Okay? Third world? It's third world to criticize the vice president. Bro, India is the third world.
Good little boy?
That's where his wife is from. That's what his kids are about. J.D. Vance loves the third world so much, he married it.
Yeah, he literally.
That's how much he loves the third world.
His own women
hey, J.D., you love the third world so much. Why don't you marry it?
It's just.
He did.
He's a traitor.
He had an interreligious wedding.
That's disgusting.
Interreligious, intercultural wedding ceremony with his Indian wife. Then they took their kids dressed like Slumdog Millionaire to India last year. And people have the audacity to say, I'm third world? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That's totally insane.
This guy
So
can't
anyway,
be president.
That's that. I do want to move on, though. I want to get into something else. So I told you the other night, I don't really want to weigh in on the Elijah Schaffer, Sarah Stock drama because they're both friends of mine. And obviously, I don't approve of the things that are being said about them. It's not good stuff, but they're my friends. And I'm there for my friends when they're going through a hard time and when they're going through a good time. You know, that's what I have to say about that. Here's what I will say, though, a little bit further. You know what's funny? The timing of it. Last week on the show, I made this very bold statement on the show. I said, sometimes, and I said, I'm not going to do it, okay? I said, I'm not seriously considering this. I'm never going to do it. I said, but sometimes, I think it might be kind of hot to marry an OnlyFans girl. And look, I just said it out loud, all right? I put it out there. I just said it out loud.
He's such a contrarian.
I just put it in there, okay? I just put it out there.
He loves it.
Into the world. And they said I was crazy. They said I was crazy for saying this. People said, why is he doing this? Why is he saying this? They made me feel like I was crazy, but I was right. Oh, I guess I don't sound so crazy anymore, huh? People were telling me. Sargon of Akkad texted me. He said, mate, what are you doing? I want a girl who's mine and mine alone. I want a trad girl. I said, yeah, well, I don't. I said, yeah? Well, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I think it'd be hot maybe to not. He said, you have lost the plot. You should want a trad girl. You should want a nice trad girl that you meet in church. Huh, I guess now I'm not sounding so crazy anymore, huh? See, it's not that I'm not right. It's just that I'm not right now. I'm not always right now, okay?
You know,
I
being
said
ahead
this
of your
2 weeks
time
ago.
That's a great thing.
They said I was crazy. People said, what's gotten into him? Nobody understood it. Now are you getting it? You getting it now?
Literally snowed.
Now it makes perfect
Florida.
sense. Couple weeks later, now it makes perfect sense.
In my life.
I gotta say, I mean, and look, not trying to make light of the situation. It's actually a devastating situation for both of them. Look, I just have to say, no e-girls, not even once. Have to say it, you know, and okay, I like these people. I'm there for them. I'm sticking up for them, but
Don't mean you gotta.
You know, what's the law? The law. No e-girls, not even once. I mean, I'm just saying, okay? And I'm just saying, okay? I'm just saying, how can one man be so vindicated? How can one man be so goated? Bro had a take so vindicated and so legendary, he had the whole squad going incel. I mean, seriously. Right About Everything award, Fell For It Again award, Fell For It Again awards going out to everybody in the audience. Anyway, but like I said, I'm deeply sympathetic. And I think that the right approach is for us to be charitable to these people. I like them both. And this is a personal drama. It's really nobody's business other than theirs. People are saying they need to apologize. I want to say, apologize to who? Me? What do I have to do? People are saying, you need to apologize. It's like, to the internet? Why? I think they should apologize to God. They should confess to God. We're Catholic. That's what you do. And they should work it out with their families. It's a family affair. It's a private affair. I see everybody in the replies. They need to apologize. You need to show some humility. To who? We're not the judge, jury, and executioner. So I think people should be a little respectful to these people as they try to navigate this. They try to figure it out and pick up the pieces. They made mistakes. They'll pay for those mistakes, surely. And that's really their prerogative. I mean, that's their situation. And I think we should be charitable and respectful. And we should approach these subjects with the intention that we want what's best for the people involved. And I don't think that being accusatory, and I don't think that drip feeding this vindictive campaign against them, posting secret recordings, that's not helping them. That's not good for anybody, actually. I think that's bullshit. And I don't know how anybody could say that that is righteous. Two wrongs don't make a right. People can make mistakes. And then you got people secretly recording. Oh, I secretly recorded her. I secretly recorded him. Now I'm sharing it with the world. Now everybody's gossiping. We're reveling in the drama. That's not good either. So guard your souls. Guard your souls. Follow your conscience. Try to be merciful and charitable when it comes to that sort of thing. Anyway, that's just my feelings on it. But I had to just throw it out there because I went on Telegram today and I'm kind of like, isn't it a little bit interesting that I had some commentary about this issue like last week? And do you remember everybody was outraged? They said he was one-shotted by Miami. He's just saying things to sound straight. They said, this is really cucked. He just wants guys to sleep with his wife. I'm like, maybe you don't really get it. Like, this is just kind of the new meta. I don't know what to tell you. I'm just living in the future. At a certain point, you're going to have to just give me the benefit of the doubt and trust me a little bit. Anyway, we're joking a little bit, but that's that. I do want to move on. We're going to get into our news here tonight.
I couldn't.
And man, oh man, this is just crazy stuff. Our featured story, we're talking all about the total capitulation by the Trump administration on immigration. And I don't even really know how to start this one because I feel like I've been saying the same exact thing for 2 years, and I literally have. If you've been watching the show for 2 years, you know exactly what I'm going to say. I've been saying it every day for 2 years, which is that you're not getting mass deportations. You are never going to get mass deportations. You never will get mass deportations. And I told you exactly why, and I told you exactly how that was going to play out. And now we're just watching it unfold in real time. So as you know, at the end of 2025, the Trump administration sent ICE and the National Guard into Minneapolis. And they have been doing this. They have been deploying a lot of immigration resources to cities. You had Midway Blitz in Chicago. You had Operation in LA before that. And so this was supposed to be another deployment of ICE and the National Guard, which has been escalating. There's been an increasing amount of tension, and it's become very contentious and very violent. We saw that with the LA riots in June of last year. We saw that with some of the resistance in Chicago in the fall and early in the winter of last year. And so ICE and National Guard go up to Minneapolis, and they're encountering this stiff resistance from local organizers, big protests. And it looks like a coordinated cell of progressive activists that are doxing and stalking and intimidating ICE agents who are trying to arrest people. And as you know, this culminated in the death of Renee Good and then Alex Preddy. And there were all these calls then from activists and protesters and the municipal and state government and national figures, cultural figures, to back off, to get ICE to have some accountability, for there to be new restrictions and stuff like that to be implemented. And I remember this conversation in January. There were so many people on the internet telling us that Trump was not backing down. It was very obvious how that was all playing out. We all sort of knew basically the moment that Renee Good got shot, where all of this was headed, which is to say that she's going to get shot. The media is literally going to cry bloody murder. They're going to do wall-to-wall coverage. You're going to get the propaganda that ICE are like the Nazis, that ICE is gunning down citizens in the streets. And what is that going to do?
People fucking believe
it is going to embolden and encourage the agitators. So you were going to get protesters and an autonomous zone and all that other stuff. And knowing the Trump administration, he was going to back down for the very simple reason that we are in a midterm election year. So Trump can't afford for the bottom to fall out with his popularity because they only have a few seats in the House that give them the majority. Historically, they're going to lose seats. They really need all the help they can get. So you knew that Trump was not going to stick it out. Like, so much of this was predictable. The second that Renee Good got shot. And I remember in January, all of the Trump supporters on Twitter were reassuring us, no, that's not happening. It's actually intensifying. Actually, Trump is a genius, and he worked out a deal. He called the mayor and the governor, and by even having that call, he made them out to be traitors to their own movement, and he got them to cooperate with the feds, and it's a 5-dimensional chess play. It's all great. It's all going according to plan. Right. I remember they were seriously saying this in January. Well, now, as of last night, it is just undeniable and unambiguous that that is not the case. That Trump is absolutely surrendering and capitulating on mass deportations.
Like 10%.
How do we know this? Because he said it. He said it in an interview with NBC last night. He said that ICE needs a softer touch. When asked directly, are we going to continue deporting all illegals or will we now focus only on criminals? He said, we're only focusing on criminals. That's it. This is a story. This is from BBC. We're going to read through it. It says, quote, President Trump has said immigration agents could use a softer touch as his administration began pulling about a quarter of its force out of Minnesota. He said to NBC News, quote, I learned that maybe we could use a little bit of a softer touch, but you still have to be tough. U.S. Border Czar Tom Homan said earlier 700 federal immigration agents would be withdrawn from the Minneapolis area. He said 2,000 agents would remain and that he aimed to cut their presence in the city to its level before Operation Metro Surge began in December. So in other words, they're withdrawing about a third of the force and they're going to draw down the rest of it later. So it's graduated, but they're getting rid of everybody eventually. In the interview, Trump insisted that the operations were highly targeted at criminals. He said, quote, we are totally focused on criminals, really bad criminals. He also said he was not happy with the fatal shootings of Alex Preddy and Renee Good. He said he was not an angel. She was not an angel. You look at some tapes, but still I'm not happy with what happened there. He said it should not have happened. It was very sad to me. 2 very sad incidents. During a news conference on Wednesday, Border Czar Homan said that U.S. government had made providing body-worn cameras to all officers in Minneapolis a priority and was planning to deploy the equipment to agents across the country. Homan acknowledged it was not a perfect operation and said it had become more streamlined with an established unified chain of command. Meanwhile, the White House stood by Trump advisor Stephen Miller amid a report that cracks had formed in Trump's relationship with the immigration hawk. The U.S. president told aides he was not comfortable with how far Miller had gone on the issue on some fronts, said the Wall Street Journal. So let's back it up a little bit, okay? Let's back up the timeline. I really want to give you the full timeline here. I want to go all the way back. I want to go all the way back, actually, to January 2025. Do you remember in January 2025, a week before the inauguration, Tom Homan our tough as nails borders are that looks like a medieval brute. Remember those memes? Tom Homan got up and smugly and proudly said, day one, we are doing immigration raids. We are starting mass deportations. If you're an illegal, go home because we're going to deport you. Remember that? Remember that? For 2 weeks leading up to the inauguration, this is how it started. They said, pack your bags. You have 14 days. Everybody's going home. If you're illegal, you're going home. I'm coming to Chicago. I don't care what the mayor says. The mass deportations start on day one. Anybody remember what happened on day one?
Nope.
No immigration raids. Nothing. They didn't do anything. They canceled them. They canceled them. On January 20th, there were no raids. And Tom Homan got on TV and said, oh, well, our operational security was compromised because the illegals caught wind. We were going to do it. So to keep everybody safe, we had to postpone it. You got compromised. Maybe it's because you were telling everybody it was going to happen for 2 weeks. It didn't happen on day one. This is how it starts. You think I started this life yesterday, kid? That's how it starts. They make a promise. They say it's going to happen on this day. They don't do it. That's only the beginning. That's always how it starts. Day two, you had the DHS press account on Twitter, the White House press account on Twitter. They started posting their daily number of arrests. Anybody remember that second day total of illegal immigration arrests? It's about 306. 306 illegal immigrants. It's nothing. Yeah. Day two, same thing. They kept chugging along for a couple weeks. They got it up to 1,500. Then it kept coming down again. Then it fell below 1,000. Then they stopped posting the numbers. We never heard about it again. Wow. And ICE and DHS stopped posting the figures. Oh, remember that? That's how it started. And as the months went on, it was clear that they were not even arresting 1,000 people per day. And do the quick math. If you're arresting 1,000 per day, that's 365,000 per year, obviously. 365 days in a year, 1,000 arrests a day, 365,000 arrests per year. Well, if 10 million illegals came in under Biden, that means that 2.5 million were coming in every single year. So if for 4 years you had 2.5 million entering, and in the next 4 years you only have 365,000 leaving, what does that give you? It means you're operating at a deficit of 2.2 million per year, which is still an astronomical figure. So even if you get them up to 1 million per year, 2 million per year, you're still not even getting rid of the illegals that came in under Biden. Huge problem. So the days and months go on. January, February, March, April, May. And these arrest numbers are not going up at all. They're not even getting up past 1,000, 1,500. It's just not there. And so people are recognizing these mass deportations are not happening. So what was the excuse? Well, they said, and in fairness, there's some truth to this. They said that, well, we really don't have the resources to do a mass deportation. We don't have enough ICE agents. We don't have enough detention space. Even if we wanted to arrest 1 million people per year, we don't have enough ICE agents to do it. We don't have enough detention facilities to hold the people while we ship them out. So they said, we need to pass this big, beautiful bill. We need to pass this huge corporate tax cuts. Yeah. We need to pass this AI regulation moratorium. We need to cut Medicaid by $800 billion. We have to do all this pork barrel spending, all this other crap, in order to get a $80 billion ICE budget. Then we could start deporting people. Do you remember what happened the day that they passed that bill, which was supposed to fix these problems and get us on track for deportations? The very same day that that bill passed the House using budget reconciliation, Trump went to a rally and he said, and I quote, "We need the people." He said, and he indicated, we will not be deporting illegal immigrants from job sites, farms, hospitality, restaurants, construction. He said, and the radical right won't be happy about it, but they'll be okay with it.
That's where he fucked up.
The signs were there. This is always how it goes. Deportations on day one. I meant day two. Day two, 300 arrests. Whoa, hey, we're getting them up.
They don't have to worry about us because we don't go out and riot and stuff like the leftists do. I mean, maybe it's time we started putting the fear of God in them.
They never go up. Well, we just need the money. Here's the money. Oh, well, we're not going to deport all the workers, actually. Okay? So then you move on, and you see what is happening in these cities. Trump is deploying ICE to Los Angeles and National Guard. Trump is deploying ICE to Chicago with National Guard. And what is happening in the summer and fall in these cities? It's a war. Because even though ICE is not arresting a lot of people, how are they doing it? They're doing it in a highly visible and provocative way. What do I mean by this?
Not in the jail.
You have like 100 ICE agents performing a raid on one apartment building, and they make a dozen arrests. So you got hundreds of agents. They bring in helicopters. They come in with tactical vests like a SWAT team. And they get 12 people. Then they post a hype edit about it on TikTok. And they're posting hype edits on TikTok all summer with Theo Von, with Sabrina Carpenter. And they're really like challenging people to have a problem with this. They're daring people to be offended. They're showing you these images of illegals being thrown out, and they're sort of daring you to be sympathetic. And that, in fairness, they are making mistakes. They're undisciplined. They're going up to people and asking them, hey, are you a citizen? They're getting a little handsy, pushing and shoving people. It's not a great look. And so they're going into LA and they're going into Chicago. And you start to have this asymmetry of results and perception. In the minds of the public and the media, this is an extremely aggressive deportation policy. In their minds, this is like an Orwellian, dystopian, totalitarian takeover. Families...
Because that's the way I felt when Biden was letting those bitches over our border. Felt like it was just powerless and it was a totalitarian government and they were forcing brown people from all over the planet on us.
Being kidnapped. It's like the Hunger Games. This is like the Capitol. Right. It's like Gestapo all over again.
We always get the shit.
In reality, very few people are even being arrested. Now, why is the Trump administration deliberately creating this perception? It's because they really have no intention of doing mass deportations. They both lack the competence to actually see it through, and also they lack the will. They don't really want to do it. Because to actually deport millions of people, you're going to hurt the bottom line of Wall Street, Silicon Valley, big agriculture, and other industries.
Hurt the bottom line.
So they don't want to do it. Even if they wanted to do it, they are not competent enough to achieve it. So in order to satisfy the base and keep the base happy, they are creating this perception, substituting cruelty and attitude and style for substance and results in order to feed the base and get the base thinking that they're doing something. In the process, they are antagonizing and provoking the left. And what this does is, in a word, it activates the left. The left accepts the challenge and they rally behind the issue. And the left, which was disorganized and demoralized and despairing, they are now resurgent. And now they have consolidated and they found their issue. And now in LA, they're rioting. And the riots aren't a good look, but they forced Trump to back down. And in Chicago, they're fighting ICE agents and they're rioting outside the detention facility. And there are terrorist attacks happening against ICE in Portland and Texas. And slowly but surely, there is this escalation in violence. The left is getting emboldened. They see the provocation and they're getting angry. Mission accomplished. You're antagonizing them. They're getting pissed off. They're organizing.
They don't do it.
They're
quietly.
networking. They're meeting in Signal group chats. These progressive cells, Antifa, communists, DSA, they're being funded by the far left. Their signs, their posters, the meetups they're organizing on Facebook, they're getting together. And not only that, but they're getting more and more violent because they see that ICE is kind of a joke. They see what they're able to get away with. They see how if they just show up, they're able to overwhelm ICE. They're chasing them through the streets, blowing their whistles, surrounding ICE agents, ICE leadership. And I told you last year, I said, you have to do one of two things. Either you don't even attempt this and you just let the sleeping dogs lie, or if you want to fight the left, you need to crush them and overwhelm them. You have to make it known that if they try to resist, they will be destroyed. Otherwise, you are feeding this tit-for-tat cycle of escalation. You go to a city and make some arrests, so they box in an ICE agent. You send in the National Guard to beat those people up. They send in an army of protesters to push back the National Guard. You're just giving it oxygen to breathe. You're giving them the optimism and the hope that they can actually defeat ICE and overcome ICE. That ICE is not actually going to win the game of chicken. So then that brings us to Minneapolis. And I told you last year, inevitably, you're going to get this brutal confrontation, and here it is. In Minneapolis, it starts to get really contentious and really ugly. And people are turning against ICE. They're turning against the policy. People are seeing the chaos in the streets, and they want it to stop. Now, even before the new year, even before 2026, the polling started to turn against ICE and the immigration enforcement policy. And there was already some second guessing inside the administration into the first week of January. I told you there was a report out in Axios in the first week of January that said that Trump and his team were having second thoughts. They wanted to change the strategy. They wanted to recalibrate. They think it's becoming unpopular. Republicans are pushing back because they're worried about the midterms. Again, this is how this year started. Then Renee Good got shot. Renee Good gets shot. Alex Preddy gets shot. What happens in the aftermath of these shootings? It is just a cascading series of concessions. Death by 1,000 cuts. Trump gets up in a press conference and says, we're only deporting criminal illegals, not these poor people that have been here for 20 years working hard. Tom Homan goes into the city and he says, we've been making all these mistakes. We have all these problems. Bovino gets pulled out of the city. It's the first scalp for the left. They hated this guy. He was the face of enforcement, and the Trump administration pulled the rug out from under him. They ordered him to leave the city, and they sent in Tom Homan to do cleanup crew. Then Tom Homan gets up at a press conference and is undercutting his own squad. He's telling everybody that ICE made a lot of mistakes and they don't always get it right. And we're going to discipline everybody that didn't get it right and all this kind of stuff. He starts talking about a drawdown. He says, we're going to draw down the number of ICE agents in the city. And if they would just cooperate, then we'll leave. Then Kristi Noem last week said, we're going to get everybody to wear body cameras, first in Minnesota, then everywhere else. Stephen Miller starts playing the blame game. He said, I only called Alex Preddy a terrorist because that's what DHS said. And I told Kristi Noem that we need to change the rules of engagement, and she didn't listen. This is how it goes. And now, at long last, we have this series of developments today. Trump says in an interview a few things which are really interesting. He says that those protesters shouldn't have died. He says we need a softer touch. He says, we're only going after the criminals, not the regular illegals anymore. And Tom Homan says we're withdrawing 700 people and we're going to withdraw even more. And he says, basically, our operation was flawed. This is a complete and total capitulation. And it's not hard to see why this is a problem.
In the jungle.
If you want to deport 1 million people per year, which is what you would need to do to get anything resembling a mass deportation, you need actually to increase the presence of law enforcement, not decrease. You want to deport 1 million people per year? You need to double, triple, quadruple the number of people that you're arresting and deporting. So that means you're going to need more ICE agents. It's going to need to be more visible, more provocative. Talk about, they're saying we need targeted enforcement. No, you're going to need to sweep neighborhoods. You're going to need patrols. You're going to need to do more Minneapolis-style operations if you want to get a mass deportation. So if they come out and they say, well, we're withdrawing, well, that indicates first and foremost, they will be deporting fewer people, not more. But it's also a surrender. You tried to do this policy in Minneapolis. The left fought back.
Miserably failed.
They tried to kill your people, and they died in the process. And now you undercut your own law enforcement operatives by throwing them under the bus. Trump says that Bovino is an out there guy. He's too tough, saying we need to be softer. Softer? You're staring down an angry mob and you're on TV saying we need to be softer?
An angry mob that's getting violent.
This is not the Trump that I know. This is not the Trump from the election who's all fire breathing and intensity. Trump says in the face of this mob trying to get him to back down, he says we need to be soft. And Bovino is out there and he needs to relax. They throw their own guys under the bus saying we're not perfect and this is a mistake that these people were killed. You send your commander out of the city. You reduce the troop size by 1/3. And in the end, they changed the policy. We had a statement from Border Patrol, according to Nick Sorter. 2 Border Patrol agents confirmed they're no longer doing patrols. They're now only doing precise, targeted enforcement. Meaning they're not going to be driving around the city looking for illegals. They're going to be looking and working with the police for the criminals and only arresting those people. Which necessarily is going to mean far fewer arrests because there are far fewer criminal illegals than illegals. You could deport all the criminals, and you're still going to have millions and millions and millions of illegals. So that's a much smaller group, and it's a much more narrow net to cast. It can't possibly go up. It can't even possibly stay the same. It's necessarily going to go down. And the number of arrests and the presence of law enforcement and the strength of the tactics, it's all decreasing after the left forced their hand. The left vetoed the policy. Trump tried, Bovino tried, Holman tried, Stephen Miller tried, and the left came in and they shut it down. They vetoed it. They created so much pain and so much unpleasantness. They created such a controversy that they made it impossible for the administration to continue. All the media coverage that was generated, all the outrage.
For nothing.
And now Trump was forced to back down.
Cuck.
But let's be clear also about some of the pressures that are going against Trump. It's not just coming from the left. Think about the logic here. Why does Trump have to shut it down? Why is he particularly sensitive? Because it's a midterm election year. Republicans have a 3 or 4 seat majority. Democrats are favored to win the House, 83% on Polymarket. And historically, the incumbent party always loses seats in the House during the midterms. So if you have a small majority and you're almost certainly going to lose seats, that means you're almost certainly going to lose the House. And this is going to be catastrophic. It means impeachment. It means a divided government. It means you're never going to pass any legislation. It's going to create a ton of problems. So Trump is acutely aware of this. And even more so, the Republican conference, the Republican members of the House and the Senate are aware of this. And so certainly, as the media does wall-to-wall coverage of these atrocities, Republican congressmen are freaking out and they're calling the White House and saying, hey, man, we want to win the midterms. You got to stop this policy. And so are the businesses. The Minnesota Chamber of Commerce, which represents Target and some of the other major businesses in the city that are being affected by this, the Minnesota Chamber of Commerce, representing the business interest, they put out a statement and said, we need to de-escalate. We need to shut it down. And of course, Trump needs to obey the donors because he works for Wall Street. He works for the business interests. He works for the Chamber of Commerce.
Dude.
And this is exactly how I said it would go a couple of years ago in 2024. I mean, really. I posted a clip today from November of 2024, and I said precisely this. I said they're going to try to do mass deportations. They will try until 2026 at the latest. I said, and then what is going to happen is the left is going to push back. There's going to be bad media coverage. I said Trump is going to cave. And not only is he going to cave, but he's going to try to retcon it. He's going to try to finesse it. And he's going to rebrand. And he'll say mass deportations. I never promised mass deportations. What I always meant was self-deportations. What I always promised was
we all know
deportations of criminal illegal aliens. Because that is what Trump does. He overpromises, he underdelivers, and then he gaslights.
He was literally saying in his campaigns, you know, we got to get them out. They got to go. You know, we're not going to have a country. I mean, every 5 minutes he said that. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, he's kind of disgracing himself, like he's kind of destroying his own legacy here.
And convinces you that he is doing what he always promised to do. And there's a few clips like that. There's a clip of me in a Twitter space from years ago where I said, it's scary. In 2024, I said Trump is going to try to do deportations. I said, you're going to get wall-to-wall coverage calling it the Gestapo. I said, you'll get color revolution tactics from the left. I said, then Trump is going to call up Stephen Miller and says, Stephen, we can't keep doing this. And they're going to shut it down. That is literally exactly how it played out. They tried it. The media hyped it up. You get the color revolution stuff. And then literally, this is from Wall Street Journal, you have Trump admonishing Stephen Miller, telling him we have to walk the policy back. Telling the White House we need to focus on criminals only, not the other illegals. That's how we're going to win public opinion back.
They should just forget about trying to win.
And it was so obvious that that is how it would go. Now, a lot of people are saying that. A lot of people are saying, well, anyone could have predicted that. Well, maybe anyone could have predicted that, but nobody did. Nobody did, because I was there in 2024. And you know what they said in 2024? They said, we don't need to scrutinize what Trump does or says because they held up these placards at the RNC that said mass deportations. And that's good enough for me. Yeah, I suppose anyone could have made that prediction. It's just that nobody did. And if they did, nobody said it out loud. Why? Because nobody was on board with that back then. Everybody was drinking the Kool-Aid. Candace Owens was pro-Trump. Tucker Carlson was pro-Trump. All these people were pro-Trump. Nobody would deign to criticize him or threaten not to vote for him over something like this, but I did. And I said precisely how it would happen. Now, why do I say this? Because even to this day, you have paid Republican operatives trying to convince you that this isn't happening. I saw somebody post today that when Trump tells NBC that we're not doing mass deportations, I saw somebody say on Twitter, well, he's just lying. So Border Patrol says we're not doing mass deportations. The numbers say we're not doing mass deportations. Border Patrol and ICE and DHS say we're not doing mass deportations. The president says we're not doing it anymore. What do the Republican shills say? They say, he doesn't mean that. He's just lying. He doesn't mean that. It reminds me of that scene in Taxi Driver when Robert De Niro says to the hooker, he says, you know what the pimp says about you? He says disgusting things about you. And she goes, he would never say that. He wouldn't say that about me. It's like, you're literally a cuck. You're literally a cheap whore.
Welcome, sir.
You are like a stupid whore and a cheap whore at that. You're barely even getting paid. And I know, because I know how much you're getting paid. I literally see Republican shills saying, oh, Trump said we're only deporting the criminals. He doesn't mean that. He doesn't mean that. He's going to deport them. He just has to say that. I saw some doofus say, well, he's interviewing with NBC. That's liberal media. Of course he's going to say that to the liberal media. Aren't you guys tired? I mean, seriously, haven't you guys had enough of being disappointed, of being humiliated, of being let down, of having to carry water for the... Aren't you tired of all that? Seriously. Because I remember in 2024, when Trump and Vance separately were asked about mass deportations, they were saying the same stuff then that they are now. They were asked, how will you specifically deport tens of millions of people? And they said, we're going to focus on the criminals first, and then we'll worry about everybody else later. Go back, play the tape, find it. I'll wait. They were saying that during the election, and I tried to tell you. I mean, I played the clip on my show. I said, watch. I said, when they say they're going to prioritize criminals, that means they're not deporting anybody else. I said, and that means they're not serious. They're not going to deport even 500,000 people per year. And it took everybody else 2 years to figure it out when they're actually saying it. And let me tell you why this is happening. This is happening because at the end of the day, okay, let me be clear. Let me do the politician thing. Let me be clear. Are you paying attention? Are you listening? Hello?
Check 1,
This
2.
is the most important thing you're going to hear. The Republican Party is not against immigration, and they never have been.
Really are.
You need to get that through your head. The Republican Party and their donors, and therefore their think tanks and politicians and magazines, they are not against immigration, and they never have been.
Capitalism has kind of gone, it's like an Ouroboros, you know, the snake eating the tail. The profit motive is so important. They're willing to cannibalize us, or, you know, they're willing to replace their people over that, you know, and they're doing it. The Democrats are doing it to be diverse and to basically cheat us out of our birthright. And the Republicans are doing it for the almighty dollar. You know, and as last I checked, economies were, you know, we have them for a reason, to benefit us, to make our lives better. And when they stop benefiting us and they start hurting us, I say the economy's got to go then. You know, then that's just it. It's got to go. I mean, you know, there's no two ways about it.
Would you like to know why?
Like, I'd rather not have a
Because
free
the
market if
business
that's the deal.
interests that fund the Republican movement profit from foreign labor.
That's bullshit.
It's that simple.
They should just fucking leave.
Who
the
is
country and go
hiring
move
all
to
these
the
illegal
country they want.
aliens? Big farms, meat processing plants, meat packing plants, hotels, restaurants, the rest of it. Now, who owns those companies? It's the big asset managers.
Yeah.
It's the banks. It's BlackRock. It's Vanguard.
They got to make their dollar. They got to make that profit.
It's JP Morgan.
They don't give a
Okay?
shit about us.
It's asset managers. It's banks. Do you know that Trump received $200 million from Timothy Mellon in 2024? A banker? Why do you think he got all that money? You know that he received $275 million from Elon Musk? Why do you think he got that money? Who is employing all the cheap labor? It's the business interests. Businesses employ employees. Businesses profit from cheaper labor, from lower wages. That is why the business interests want the cheapest labor possible. That's why they want the most laborers inside our borders.
And they're willing to.
So that's why Reagan gave 3 million illegal aliens amnesty and didn't secure the border. That's why Reagan's successor, George Bush, doubled the amount of immigration, expanded virtually every category of immigration with the 1990 Immigration Act. Reagan gave them amnesty in '86 and turned California blue forever. George Bush gave us the 1990 Immigration Act. Just Google it. They virtually doubled every kind of immigration, chain migration. They created H-1Bs, the visa lottery, expanded the number of refugees. It all went up because the Chamber of Commerce wanted it. George W. Bush was soft on this stuff. Jeb Bush said illegals come here out of love. Gang of Eight, Lindsey Graham, Rubio, these guys, they wanted to give amnesty for illegals, and they always have. Now, here's the rub. Under Trump, the Republican Party is smart enough to pander to its nativist base. Most people that vote Republican are white, by far. There is a higher proportion of white people voting Republican than there is of white people voting Democrat. About 57% of Democrat voters are white. About 80% of Republican voters are white. And Trump knows the Republican base. So he panders to them. Basically. This has been a winning issue for 25 years. English only, and building a border wall, and mass deportations, and cracking down on foreign labor. All of this has been popular for a quarter of a century. And so Trump, as a good politician, leaned into this issue. It's a gold mine. But then once Trump won, he became another Republican. He was governed by the same political constraints, the same capture by the business interests as every other Republican. And the mistake that the voters are making is they're listening too much to what the president says, and they're not paying close enough attention to who the president owes.
They're just going to keep pushing us until we don't feel like voting will accomplish or will give us the redress for our grievances. And then, you know, their businesses can go to hell. That's what they're pushing. That's the
difference.
They're
so in 2024, people said, hey, but Trump's rhetoric is great. Hey, but hasn't the conversation changed so much? Haven't we come so far in terms of how we're able to talk about the issue? Yeah, okay, well, that and $1 will buy you a cup of coffee, okay? I was on Tim Pool debating it with one of these Trump guys.
Oh, yeah.
And he goes, but the conversation has changed.
Bro,
don't you realize we're able to talk candidly about the issue? I go, yeah, well, you know, your ability to speak about this and this meta-political victory of moving the Overton window, you know, that's all bullshit. That's not real. You could take all your meta-political victories and you could put them in a bag, and that and $1 will buy you a cup of coffee at McDonald's. It's worth nothing.
Nothing.
You know what I want? I want my border wall. You know, I want my 30-foot.
It's worth nothing because if the left can just show up, you know, with 10% of the population and twist, you know, the rest of the country's arm, then it doesn't mean shit. Even getting your politician doesn't mean shit, it seems, anymore.
2,000-mile long concrete fucking border wall. You know, what did he say in 2016? Does anybody even remember? Seriously. Think about how much you've been gaslit. Do you even remember that when Trump ran in 2015, 11 years ago, he said, we're going to build a big, tall, powerful, impenetrable border wall and Mexico will pay for it. Does anyone even remember that? Do you even remember? Remember, we're going to build a wall. Mexico will pay for that wall. The wall just got 10 feet higher. How are you going to get them to pay for it? I'm great at deals. People don't even, so many promises broken and forgotten. We don't even remember all of them. Trump was synonymous with border wall. Now people don't even know. They don't even remember. It's not there. It doesn't exist. We got 83 miles of 18-foot steel bollard fencing. He promised us 2,000 miles of 30-foot tall concrete wall. Okay, we played this game. Trump said in 2016, I'm going to build the wall and Mexico will pay for the wall. And it never happened because Republicans disobeyed him. They didn't give him the funding. They didn't follow through on it. And in the end, it's because they really didn't want to control illegal immigration. So they put together this Nicky-Nack Remain in Mexico executive order architecture. And Biden undid it on day one with an executive order. And then we got 10 million illegals. Trump, once again, is swept into office by this groundswell of opposition to illegal immigration. He promises mass deportation. We're going to kick them all out. Pack your bags. You got 30 days. And they didn't even deport as many people as Obama in his first year in office. And they're already walking it back because they don't really want to deport all these illegals. You were tricked. People say, this isn't what I voted for. Yeah, it fucking is. This is exactly what you voted for, you idiot. It was obvious. Trump and Vance were both saying this throughout 2024. Throughout 2024, the election, Trump said, we need the people. We need to let them come in. We need the people. We need them to work certain jobs. He promised David Sachs, I will staple green cards to diplomas. Whenever they were asked about the deportations, they would say, we're prioritizing criminals. We'll worry about everybody else later. It was clear as day. It was in black and white. It was obvious. You just did not want to listen because you wanted to believe. You were so caught up, so emotional, so involved in the groupthink, you didn't want to listen. You didn't want to see it. It was right in front of you, smacking you in the face.
Welcome, Biden.
You didn't want to see it. And it was right in front of you all throughout last year. Well, now look at where we are. Looky where we are now. It's 2026, and it's already too late. It's the midterms. They are going to redistrict Virginia, and Republicans are going to lose 4 seats from that alone. And we're going to get slaughtered.
We're going to get some seats in the
So you
Senate.
think now there's going to be a big push for mass deportations? Good luck. You can't deport 750 people per day without getting riots and protests and body cameras, and they're defunding the fucking police over it. You're going to quadruple those numbers in a midterm, and what, the media is not going to catch it on camera, and you're not going to get any more dead communists to cry over? Forget it. And what do you think is going to happen when the Republicans lose the midterms? Not if, but when the Republicans lose the midterms. What do you think's going to happen? Well, you're going to get a lame duck from November to January. And then in January 2027, when the new Congress is seated, they will not fund DHS. They will not fund the government until we defund ICE. They're doing it already. They're showing us. We had the longest government shutdown in history last fall over a symbolic provision about healthcare credits, which they didn't even get. They just wanted to be uncooperative. Now we're getting another partial government shutdown of DHS because Democrats want to force restrictions on ICE. That is when they are in the minority in both chambers. What happens when they have a majority in the House? They're going to shut down the government all the time. They're going to impeach everybody, investigate everybody.
Yep.
The work of this administration will grind to a halt because they will be distracted. They will be out of energy. Their personnel will be involved in this. They will not be able to get anything through Congress. And if anything, Congress will impose restraints on everything that they do legislatively. So you think you're getting it in 2026? Not going to happen. You think you're going to get it in 2027 when the Democrats have half of the divided government? Not going to happen. 2028? Who even fucking cares at that point? And I told you.
I care. These boomers only got 2, 3, 4 years left. When Chuck Schumer dies, a lot of stuff's going to be changing. And those immigrants are going to wish that they had got while the getting was. Because if we don't do it now, we're going to do it later. It's a matter of when, not if. We're going to do it later. And the Zoomers are going to have the control then. I assure you. Them and us, we're not going to play around like Trump. We're not going to go, do shows. We're just going to bust skulls. I mean, you're going to get real about it.
Like this. Now all the Republicans are already saying, well, hey, everybody, let's get everything back on track in 26. Get it back on track. This is supposed to be the golden age. Huh? 2016, we're going to make America great again. 2018, hey, we need more seats in the House. 2020, we got to keep America great and, like finish the wall and stuff. 2022, we got to hold the line, stop the Democrats in their tracks. 2024, all right, this time a golden age, this time for real. 2026, well, nevertheless, we got to get them back on track. Another vote.
Vote for him again. Maybe.
Imagine still playing this game. Dude, fuck these people.
Yeah, bro.
Fuck this administration. People say, you want to burn it all down? Yeah.
Yeah.
I do.
Damn right.
People say, you want to burn it all down just so you could rule over the ashes.
Absolutely. That's better than what we're doing now.
See,
we're living under
you
the
don't
boot
seem to
of
have
other
much
people.
of an imagination. I want to burn you to the ground.
Yes.
You will be turned into ashes. We will still be very much intact.
Yes.
People say he just wants to burn it all down so he could rule over the ashes and whatever's left. No, you got it wrong. We want to burn you to the ground. We want to burn the Republican Party to the ground. That's not us. We want to burn you and this administration and all these criminals that are stealing from the government, all the liars that made false promises, all these people that buried the files, brought us to war in Iran, failed on deportations. We want to burn you to the ground. We want to destroy your careers. We want to primary you. We want to fire you. And then we want to build a different party. Anything would be better than this. You have had your chance in 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. Now they want another vote in 26. They think they got us on lock in 2028. Let's try something different. Let's fire you. Let's burn you to the ground. And maybe this time you're going to be the sucker. Because every time we go and vote, you get privileges. You get patronage, contracts. You get to skim. You get to graft off of the movement. And we get fucked. We get 600,000 Chinese students. We get 130,000 H-1B Indians. We get another $20 billion to Israel. We get 230,000 deportations. Maybe it's your turn to get fucked. You've been burning us to the ground for 35 years. You burned us to the ground in 86 with the amnesty, in 1990 with the Immigration Act, in 2003 with the war in Iraq, in 2008 with the bailout, in 2018 when you couldn't cough up $1.3 billion for a border wall. You've been burning the country to the ground. Maybe it's time for you to burn to the ground. And I would gladly rule over whatever is left after that. Gladly. Better than this. So they're always saying that, well, what are you going to do? Are you going to burn it all down? Yeah, I think I'm ready to do that.
Yeah, me too.
I'm ready to burn down everybody that isn't Thomas Massey. End of list. I'm ready to burn down every Republican that has been complicit in this. Stephen Miller is retweeting Lindsey Graham. Wake up. Hello.
He's got to go.
Stephen Miller is retweeting Lindsey Graham. And by the way, If Stephen Miller and JD Vance were so fucking great, then why can't they get the job done? Huh?
Yeah.
All the hype,
Right.
all
Why-
this
why is JD
propaganda
thinking we're
on
gonna
Twitter,
vote for him?
all of this paid influencing campaigns to promote Stephen Miller and JD Vance. Hey, if they're so great, why can't they get the job done? Trump is 100 years old. What is their excuse? Trump is 90. He's falling asleep in meetings. He's obviously out to lunch. What is their excuse? Isn't Miller supposed to be our base Jew? Isn't Vance supposed to be our based Halo, Code Red Mountain Dew drinking savior? Where are they? They say, trust the plan, trust in Miller, trust in Vance. They'll get it done. Really? Well, where are they? We're going to vote for them in 2028. What are they going to do then that they can't do now? You are there now. You're in the White House now. You could make the change right now. If you can't, you got no business being there.
Mm-hmm.
If you won't,
JD,
then you
he's
should have
out-
never
he's out
been
of
there in
gas.
the first place.
Is that a guy?
Either way, people say we're going to need Vance to, keep up the good
We don't
work.
need that fucking
Dude, it's a joke. It's a disaster.
We're better off without him.
And here's going to be the delicious irony, and I can't wait for this. Peter Thiel and Little Tech and CIA Tucker Carlson with the CIA daddy, Dick Carlson, that ran Voice of America, that is in bed with Hungary and Israel-backed NGOs. Yeah, Tucker Carlson, who's hanging out in the Gulf. Tucker, who's hanging out in Russia. Tucker's best friend, JD Vance. Peter Thiel's sugar baby. They thought that by putting him in the sidecar for Trump was going to guarantee his ascension in 2028. I'm sure that when Trump tapped him to be the VP in 2024, they were clinking their glasses and saying cheers to the 48th president of the United States, our puppet JD Vance. What they didn't count on is that Trump ruins everything that he touches. They thought that Trump would be a Trojan horse, Trump would be a vehicle to propel Vance. Trump is Vance's tomb. Trump, and this second term, this is JD Vance's mausoleum. This is where JD Vance for president went to fucking die. Maybe, arguably, he could have been a contender if he was in the Senate for a little while longer, built up his record, maybe put some time in, maybe did some actual work. They really thought they were going to put him next to Trump, and this was going to be his Disney fast pass to the presidency, and then they could get all their contracts for Anduril and SpaceX and OpenAI and Palantir and all that garbage. Israel would get their bombs. They would get everything that they wanted, their charter city in Greenland and wherever.
He is creepy.
And instead, Trump is an albatross.
It is about the older Skittle guys, but they start looking really gaunt. It's creepy. They look like crypt keepers. What is with that? They all do too. It's the weirdest thing. They have like this transformation that's going. It's like a metamorphosis. By the time they're like 50 or 60, they have a very, very particular look. And it's creepy as
dragging Vance to hell with him. The failure, the vaporware, the scam that is Trumpism, it is dragging JD Vance right to hell with this whole sick fucking thing. And that is the most delicious irony of it all. That's the best part of the whole thing. It's going to be a long ways to go. We got a lot of game left to get to 2028, and it's not getting better. One disaster after the next. No mass deportations. This big, beautiful bill, which is so unpopular and a disaster. This AI regulation moratorium they keep trying to force. All these Chinese students, Indian H-1B workers. Bombing Iran not once but twice. Ukraine war still going on. The job market's terrible. Software industry is taking a dive. Bitcoin is down 50%. Epstein files have exposed all your cronies, Howard Lutnick and Peter Thiel and Reid Hoffman. and the Israelis and Trump and the rest of them. And it's only February 2026. We got a long ways to go. You know what I can't wait for? I cannot wait for the Democrats to take the House. They subpoena and investigate Kristi Noem, Lauren, and Corey Lewandowski, and they find so much corruption. It's going to make the impeachments during Trump 1 look like a joke. All that stuff about Paul Manafort and the business documents and the Ukrainian phone call. The corruption that they will discover when the Democrats are in the House, it's going to make all that stuff look like a joke. And they're just going to keep stacking it up on top of Vance. We're going to be in our war with Iran. The Middle East is going to be a mess. The economy is going to be a mess. The Trump administration is corrupt. He might even be impeached. You are fucked. And we are not going to bail you out. Sorry. 2026, I'm telling people to stay home. You know what my message is in 2026? Stay home. We got to vote to get back on track. Fuck you. And the guy that posted it, I like the guy. It's not directed at him, but that sentiment, we got to get everybody back on track. Go fuck yourself. You told us when we wanted the Epstein files, we don't need your votes anymore. Hey, wish granted. Remember that? Remember in July of 2025 when Trump said, if you want the Epstein files, you're not a real supporter. I don't want your vote. Hey, wish granted, pal. Wish granted. You wanted it, you got it. Fuck you. You want to get it back on track? Yes. Good luck. Call Netanyahu.
Go pound sand.
That's the part that I love. They sell us out. H-1B visas galore.
Oh, yes.
Student visas galore. No mass deportations. Burying the Epstein files. I think Bill Clinton's a great guy. And then in 26, they're going to be begging us for the vote. Hey, guys, we need your help. You know, President Trump needs more seats to keep the agenda going. You know what I have to say about that? You're worried about your majority in 2026. You're worried about losing the House. Why don't you ask Bill Clinton for his vote then? Right. Ask Bill Clinton. Hillary. Ask those 600,000 Chinese students. Ask the H-1B workers. Ask the Israelis. Ask Netanyahu for a vote.
They should be able
He gave Netanyahu $20 billion. Ask him to vote for you. You gave Wall Street the corporate tax cut extension. Why don't you ask them for the vote? You know, ask them. Go and bother them with your campaign ads. Don't bother us, because we still have illegal immigrants in our cities. We still have rampant crime in our cities. The job market still sucks. We're not richer. Our purchasing power has not increased. Go ask somebody else, because we are not interested. We do want to burn it all down. Correct. You don't want our vote? Wish granted. You're not getting it this time. 2028, if you can feel the candidate that is America first, if you can feel the candidate that is not a fat, disgusting pig, if you can feel the candidate that is like MAGA, OG, America first, consider it, maybe. But not in 26. We're done with that. So that's your immigration situation. I saw Ramsey Paul, that old beta male. Ramsey Paul says, I didn't vote for this. In 2024, he was chastising me for not voting for Trump. You literally voted for this. And you were attacking anybody that didn't. This is exactly what you voted for. So congrats, everybody. And anyone that was a real follower of mine, anybody that was actually loyal, anyone that actually trusts me and my record and my judgment, you have the moral high ground of not having fallen for this. I think I got a pretty good record.
I'm not going to lie. I don't necessarily agree with everything Nick says, right when he says it. But I don't really, a lot of the things, they don't affect me. So I don't question it, because he does turn out to have some insight, some inside knowledge. And, he's really, after all this 10 years, he has really shown to be the one guy that's not bullshitting us all the time. Yeah, straight up.
I told people not to get vaccinated. I told people not to vote for Trump.
Yeah, I didn't get
Pretty good
vaccinated.
record, huh? Wouldn't you say?
I knew it was a scam. 3 months?
But some of you, you didn't
months?
trust my plan. You trusted Trump's plan. Now you look like an idiot.
Nah, yeah, I don't trust politicians.
You participated in your own demise. You fell for it. You didn't listen. I was making the arguments. I was showing you the evidence. You didn't listen because you're a dummy. You thought you knew better. You got captured by emotion, sentiment, propaganda.
Like, it takes 10 years.
It is what it
that.
is. We're going to move on. We're going to take a look at our super chats. We'll cover the Iran stuff tomorrow or maybe Monday, I guess. We're going to take a look. We'll see what you guys have to say about all this. That's all I really have to say. It's just incredible how people deceive themselves, you know?
People will.
It's amazing.
Lie to themselves. You don't really.
Because as I said, all of this, it was obvious
cover,
from the very beginning, and I spelled it out from the very beginning. There was no really good counter argument, but people just went with it. They just didn't think that far ahead. It's not complicated. Like, this stuff is really, once you get a sense of it, it's pretty easy to understand. And even if you can't come up with it on your own, I do a pretty good job of breaking it down. People just didn't want to hear it. So they said, oh, well, I'm a plan truster and you're disloyal. And okay. Hey, suit yourself. You want to live in fantasy land? You want to pretend it's like 2018 still? This like loyalty to Trump thing? Okay. Good luck. So that's the state of the play. All right, we're going to move on. Let's take a look at these super chats. Let's see what we got. Let me get set up here. Vindicated on everything. OnlyFans wife. Iran, immigrant. How does one man do it? I literally predicted the Iran war, like how the whole thing played out. I predicted the lack of deportations, exactly how that played out. I predicted that we would all get an OnlyFans wife. I predicted low IQ conspiracy theories with Charlie Kirk. All right. Let's see what we got here. Let me get set up.
Marsha Astiers sent $50. Did you and Stu Peters have some sort of falling out? Didn't you all used to do shows together? I never hear you mention him. Also, please bring a truce with Tucker and Candace. They don't really talk about you, but it seems you kind of have an aversion to making up with them. Is it because of Alex? Jake is dumb, but his heart's in the right place.
Yeah, you're just not paying attention. I tried to make a truce with them and they both viciously attacked me. I went to do Candace's show with the intention of being friendly, and she's friendly to everybody that she has on her show. She's friendly to that third world, this Bassem Youssef. She's friendly to all these people. Milo, who's an FBI informant. It's so funny. Candace Owens calls me a Fed. Milo is an FBI informant. Hello? He's admitted to it. It's in court records. It's in text messages. So she's friendly to a Jewish pedophile who's an FBI informant. She brings me on the show, and it's this like bitchy, cunty interrogation. It's exactly what it was. She brings me on. She doesn't mirror my body language. She's not friendly. She's not polite. All of her questions are pointed, making accusations. She's being sarcastic. She goes, "You're talking trash about me. I think we have a clip. Skylar, do we have that? Play the clip."
Oh my God.
She's just breaking my balls for 2 hours. And I think even under the circumstances, I was very polite. Under the circumstances, I was very gracious, and I did not reciprocate her negative energy. Then she wanted to put her ambush behind a paywall. Then she wanted to put this like underhanded sneak attack behind a paywall. She was going to charge people money to watch her failed ambush. And that's really what it was about, because she told me, I'll release it on Spotify in 3 months for free, but I want to charge people up front so I can make money off of it. So you invite me out here, you lie and say you're not going to ambush me. You ambush me. I'm very polite anyway. Then you want to grift off of it? So I tried. And I found out she's an idiot. So there's that. And I really have no interest in that. She's just too stupid. She can't read. That's obvious.
Yeah.
Now she's getting into like, is anyone even following this stuff?
No.
Now she's saying that, Charlie Kirk was psychic and a remote viewer, and Israel is not controlled by Jews at all, but gypsies pretending to be Jewish because the steppe hordes of Khazarian Turks became Jewish, but not really Jewish. They became devotees of the Sabbatean Frankists, and just all that, and they're actually worshiping Nephilim, and it's just wait, and of course it's all going to go back to Brigitte Macron somehow. All that, all that is all every conspiracy is all coming back to that. And as far as Tucker is concerned, same thing. I went out, I did his show, and Tucker begged me not to talk about his dad. He said, just don't talk about my father. I get really emotional about that. I said, okay.
Why?
We do the show. He's glazing me. He texts me, I really enjoyed our dinner. I really enjoyed our conversation. So great. Really, I mean it. Then he goes on a tour trashing me. Every show he goes on, he says, I wanted to expose what a horrible person he was by letting him talk.
What a scumbag.
What are you, a cop? Fifth Amendment, he goes, I want to show everybody what a horrible person he is by just letting him talk. And, I tried to tell him that hating groups of people is wrong and anti-Semitism is wrong. And it's okay really? So you sit down for dinner with me and then you do the show and you shake my hand and you're nothing but amicable and you say, I'm enjoying this, you're really great, blah, blah, blah. Then you go to every interview and say, actually, he's an anti-Semite and I was trying to embarrass him. Okay. So, look, I tried. And honest to God, I don't know what the fuck these people are. I don't trust them. You can believe whatever you want to believe. I don't trust these people at all. I don't know what Tucker is, but he's clearly not who he says he is. This whole persona.
Going to the Middle East? What is all this?
This whole persona of, hey, I don't know. I'm just I just like to fish and hunt. I just like my truck and my dogs, and I don't know. I'm cheap. I don't buy clothes or anything. I'm a humble, simple. That's fake. That's not real. Fake. You realize that, right?
Fake is fake.
20 years ago, he's on a radio show bragging about how I'm a trust fund kid. I'm loaded. I've inherited so much money. I was born with a silver spoon. I was never affected by anything. Now he wants to do this aw shucks routine. Some kid, some college student says, don't you have $50 million? He has this epic meltdown. He goes, what the fuck? Don't believe everything you read on the internet. Oh, sorry, Tucker. You only have $30 million. So I don't know what he is, but it's actually kind of scary because he is clearly some kind of artifice. Tucker Carlson is a created entity. It's not a real thing. That Tucker, that's like a fake persona. That's not real.
Absolutely.
He is like some kind of spook. He is some kind of federal operative / CIA spook. And I don't know what his mission is, but he is pretending to be the spokesperson of the Rubes. And you want to know what's really scary is the stuff that he's promoting. Because now he's promoting aliens and psychics and remote viewing and chemtrails. And it's this is a Pied Piper. This is a guy that was a neocon and promoted the Iraq war and has these really suspicious origins. ever since Trump got elected, he became like the Trump whisperer or the whisperer to the Trump supporters. And now his show is just endlessly promoting these really freaky and weird conspiracies. He did a show the other day, I'm not making this up. He did a show with the guest who claims that the CIA hired a psychic who utilized his ability of remote viewing, which is you close your eyes and you see what's happening somewhere else in the world. And that psychic used the ability to see inside of a military base in Alaska, and that he saw aliens working with the military. And then that guy was killed by like a CIA heart attack gun. Like that's the Tucker Show now.
The fuck?
Welcome to the Tucker Show. It's another episode about chemtrails. It's an episode about aliens, ancient
White male
aliens,
version
remote
of
viewing,
Candace
psychics,
Candace.
time travel.
Daccio.
What is that? I mean, that's actually scary. So, he's not a real human being. You know, and he makes fun of me. I have my flaws. Everybody knows my problems, my hangups, you know. But I am what I am. My dad wasn't in the fucking CIA. I didn't have a completely different worldview 10 years ago like he did. All my best friends are not in the CIA like his apparently are. I don't claim to talk with authority about what government officials and the NSA is always talking about. So I don't know what that is, but it's actually like scaring me. Like you should look at him as a Halloween costume. He is a walking Halloween costume. That weird face with no chin and neck. It's like a rubber mask. He is wearing a mask. He is not a fucking real person. And I don't say that because it's sour grapes. I say that because I dealt with him. I met him. I shook his hand. I talked with him. And that is how he treated me. He totally snaked me. And if you claim to be one of these, you know, hey, man, I'm just like a drama-free, I love bread. Oh, I love nicotine and saunas and dogs and, and sex with my wife. You know, if you were truly this down-to-earth, aw shucks, hunky-dory guy like you claim to be, you wouldn't act like such a two-faced faggot all the time. You just wouldn't. That's just true.
Right.
So, I mean, I fucking hate it's so fake. I can't even.
Who knows what
I just can't even. Anyway.
I hate that.
So that's that. As far as Stu is concerned, he's just crazy. that guy's just totally nuts. That guy is just like too aggressive, and the guy's totally insane. Every show is like, we need to kill everybody. It's like, okay. That's like the other side of the bell curve, you know? You have like a super sophisticated, like dark triad CIA operative. Nobody even knows what the end game is. And then on the other side, you got like this drunk, divorced bounty hunter crashing his ATV into a tree and like just wants to kill everybody. Just wants to kill everybody all the time. Every show is like, we need heads on sticks. And you're like, whoa, all right, relax. You know, so.
Politics is Jester sent $20. Sub 5 autistic son or Stacy Hoare daughter.
Oh, that's a tough
Armchair
one.
Broy % $20. Hey Nick, huge fan of the show. Just ordered an AF mug and a Wang t-shirt. Can't wait to get them. Loved hearing you talk about Axis and Allies and diplomacy. They're my favorite games. I've played them regularly with my buddies since high school. Been running the World War I version of Ande lately and it's awesome. God bless.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing your experience. I'm glad to hear those are your favorite games and that you played them with your buddies in high school. What a relatable
Emerald
little
sent $50.
experience.
Ian and Tucker are collaborating again on the Epstein release. You know it's going to lose sight of the truth and other crimes, and take the bait for views, insinuating everything without saying anything. If they were serious about the truth, they'd have on Whitney Webb. But those two have weird ties to Teal and will focus on the distractions.
I don't even trust Whitney Webb. I don't like her. You know, everybody worships Whitney Webb and the ground that she walks on. I don't like her. I'll be honest. I don't think she's that good. I watch her show. First of all, her show is boring. Okay, boring city. These people are like, I don't know, get a fucking good camera, you know? Like, I'm watching their podcast and she's wearing like a zip up hoodie sitting cross-legged on her couch with her fucking boyfriend with, like, I don't know, red wine in a coffee cup. Like, I don't know, be professional. Like, can't you build a nice bookshelf like Emily Jashinsky? I know you're like a Spurg and everything. I know you're like a crunchy, autistic horse girl or whatever, but can't you build a nice bookshelf for your Zoom background like Emily Jashinsky and Crystal Ball? What the fuck? She's sitting there with her Logitech webcam with her zip-up hoodie pulled up over her with a coffee mug full of red wine, and her boyfriend's in his pajamas. They're cuddling next to each other on the couch. And the show fucking sucks. It's just boring. It's just like Yapperville City. Just yapping. And most of it is highly speculative, honestly. A lot of what they say, I'm like, all right, can we get to the fucking point already? So, I also, she don't follow me back on Twitter. So what is that? What's your fucking problem? And, you know, she complains, oh, no one invites me on big shows. People invite her, and then she's like, oh, I have, like, bad internet, and I, like, forgot to reply. Okay, so, you know, whatever. That's my beef with her. But yeah, I mean, Ian Carroll is just a flat out idiot. Looks like a total freak. Him and Tucker is just like Tweedledee and Tweedledum. It's Dumb and Dumber. Doesn't get much worse than that. You know, you got one guy talking about, I was remote viewing aliens with the CIA psychics, and then I woke up and I was covered in scratch marks, and I kicked the 6 dogs out of my bed and to investigate if there was any ectoplasm on the door. And then you got Ian Carroll, who, I don't know, man, just stick to delivering the pizzas. 30 minutes or less. Let's try and focus on that.
25 cent, $25. Sent chat last night about endgame in Yemen. If Saudis are going to potentially take the north from the Houthis, would Iran intervene and stop them? That's the part I don't understand.
Ugh.
If they're a proxy of Iran, why would Iran allow it?
You're just missing it, man.
Emerald sent
You're
$35. Also Candace plus her gang. Really in their anti-America era. Criticizing our leaders, plus how we're being run is one thing, but she's always angry ranting about all of the atrocities and operations in the past. As if the US in itself is the evil one. Never pro-USA. It sounds like foreign anti-white points from global rivals.
It 100% is. 100%. Absolutely. That is like Russian propaganda. that whole like left-wing thing about America's an evil empire and we terrorize everybody, that is just like anti-Western, anti-American, Russian, Chinese propaganda. It's bullshit.
Are alive because of us.
Sean Connery sent $20. You were dead on last night about New Hollywood. Finally got around to watching Succession and realized there isn't a single actor under 40 with the gravitas of Brian Cox. R.I.P. to the character actor.
Yeah, he was pretty good.
Like Brian Cox.
All these other people suck.
Roy. And Braveheart.
You know what was really good that I watched, though, was Black Rabbit. That's a great show. That was excellent. You know what my problem is, though? Let me know if this is relatable. So I was watching The Bear, because everybody told me you got to watch The Bear. And what I saw is a show. It's basically about a white guy getting yelled at by a black girl. That's the premise of the show. If you ask me, like, explain the premise of The Bear, like, what is that? What's the show about? So it's a show where, like, an overly apologetic white guy is explaining himself and stuttering to a younger black girl who's yelling at him. That's the show. I feel like every time I look up from my phone when I'm on TikTok and I'm watching it on Hulu, I'm watching a scene where Jeremy Allen White is like, I'm sorry, I'm a fucking idiot. I blah, blah, blah. And the black girl's like, you damn right, you shouldn't have done that. So I can't watch it anymore. Next. So I start watching Ozark. Okay, it's like a show about crime. Jason Bateman, he's like super smart. He's a nerd. I like Jason Bateman. Once again, what is this show about? He's like apologizing to this fucking hillbilly. Marty, what are you doing, Baba? And I'm sorry, you're right. He's apologizing to the hillbilly. He's apologizing to the hillbilly at the hotel, his wife, his fucking daughter.
That's our culture.
Okay,
bro.
I can't watch this anymore. Then I watch Black Rabbit. Jude Law arguing with the black cook. Oh, I'm going to fire my brother. Yeah, oh. Every show. It's just like a white guy apologizing to a black woman or a white
That's the
woman.
only way they can cast a white guy. He has to be a little bitch.
I can't, like, I just can't anymore with the TV.
Good on it.
That's something like very distinct that I noticed throughout all these shows. Excuse me. You know, because like anybody, you put something on TV.
It a lot lately too.
Every show, the woman is the villain. Am I wrong about this? Breaking Bad, the woman is the villain. Better Call Saul, woman is the villain. Pluribus, the main character is the villain and she's a woman. Ozark, the villain is the daughter and she's a woman. Black Rabbit, it's the women. Every show, the real antagonist is the woman, because you gotta watch these scenes where like the guy is trying to do something and the woman is like, I just don't know. Just be honest with me. You can't do this again. You know, that's like every fucking show. When is there gonna be a show where the guy is like, look, I'm a drug dealer, I'm a liar, I'm a scumbag, and if you're not okay with that, I will kill you.
Leave, yeah.
Yes, I'm a drug dealer. And if you say anything, I will cut your head off. I will beat the fuck out of you. Got it? When is there going to be a show where the wife is like trembling in fear and she gets outsmarted? Every show is like the wife is like sneaky, you know, like she throws a wrench into the guy's plans and the guy, you know, he's about to defeat his enemies. Oh, wait, but on the home front, my wife is caught. It's like, when is there going to be a show where the wife tries to mess with the husband, she's easily caught, and then she gets her fucking ass kicked? That's the show I want to see. I want to see the show where she tries to disrupt the husband's plans, and the husband, who's a genius in everything, anticipates this also. He catches her so quick, and then he just lays a beat down and puts the fear of God in her. When are we going to see that episode
when we start
of The
seeing
Bear?
it live.
You know? When are we going to see that episode of Ozark? When are we going to see that episode of Breaking Bad? It's like these people like, okay, so Breaking Bad kills like 10 people in 60 seconds in a prison, but he's like begging his wife to like have dinner with his partner or something. Like, I don't know. Women are just like not main character energy, I feel like. Women should just truly blend into the background. That's the boringest part of the story. Nobody wants to watch that part. Everybody wants to skip that part. So, anyway, what was the question? Yeah, the actors suck too. You know, Tom Holland sucks. Timothy Chalamet, I think he's overrated. Adam Driver totally sucks. Like, actually sucks. Hate his guts. Terrible. This guy that's playing Paul McCartney in the Beatles movie sucks. Hate him. The, like, Irish guy who was in, what was that movie where he's, like, drinking the bathwater? Saltburn. He was good. Jacob Elordi, he's okay. He's also not great. The new cast of characters is so unimpressive compared to what we had in the past. You know, Andrew Garfield's like a pretty good actor from like the previous generation. I'm trying to think of like other good examples. Who else do you really have?
Heath Ledger, guys like that. They were.
I'm just trying to think of actors from that like 2000s generation. Let me think. Jesse Eisenberg was good.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
I'm thinking of The Social Network. That's why those names came to mind. Who else? Throw some names out there. Mel Gibson. No. The other, like, okay. Tom Hardy. There you go. Exactly. Tom Hardy.
Big time.
The other guy, Oppenheimer. He's good.
What's his name?
And who else is good?
LB.
Billy Bob Thornton. Yeah. Jake Gyllenhaal. Excellent.
I said Jake Gyllenhaal, but bam.
Ed Norton. He's okay.
Ledger.
Christian Bale. Yeah, I guess he's one of them. Ryan Gosling. Yes. The GOAT of all time. Viggo Mortensen, he's pretty good also. How could I forget Ryan Gosling? Literally the GOAT. Compare like Ryan Gosling to Adam Driver. How old are they? Because Ryan Gosling to me is just like the GOAT.
He likes
Adam
musicals.
Driver is corny as fuck.
Adam Driver
I guess
sucks.
they're the same age. I don't know. I feel like Adam Driver came later. I don't know why. But yeah, Adam Driver, I just fucking hate. Such a cornball. Everything he does he's just like not funny. Just he's fake and just sucks. Not a fan. No offense. If he's a fan of mine, no offense. Jared Leto sucks. Who else? Matt Damon, different generation, but sucks. Hate him. Anyway.
Dr.
We
MC
gotta
Spank has sent $20.
speed this
I've been a
up
night
here.
reviewer for a while and felt it was time to do my part where I could. Started an account dedicated to clipping these super chats so you at least wouldn't be suffering in vain. At superchatter_grow on Insta.
Thanks.
Shout out to the Clippers, no Lakers.
Let's go.
American Exceptionalism sent $21. So much for the
Daniel
largest
Day-Lewis,
deportation effort ever on
he
American
was in
soil. Ice literally has
Gandhi
done
in
nothing.
1980.
My local
That
Walmarts
dude
in
has
Faribault
been
and
around
Owatonna, and men are third world countries.
forever.
And Walmart is guilty too for hiring these MFs. I feel like I'm in a mosque every time. Where has America gone? I was born here and feel like an
crazy.
outsider.
Actor, though.
I know, it's
David
crazy.
Lancaster, witness of the generational run, sent
Bill
$20.
the Butcher?
Thrilled to be a new
Oh
member
my
of the Grow Up
God,
Army.
what?
Thank you for what you do. I'm sad I wasn't here sooner. Can you name the 3 English words that start with DW?
Amazing.
I don't know. I don't think I could. 3 English words that start with DW. Dwork. Dworking. Well, let's see. We got dwork. We got dwindle. Oh, see, I'm such a fucking genius. Okay, you got dwindle, dwindling, dwindled. Is that all? That's all different, I guess. Let's see. We got dwork, dwindle,
Dwarf?
dwell, dwelling,
Dwarf, man.
and dwindle, dwell.
Dwarf. Oh, come on, Nick. You can do this. I'm running out, boss. Come on, man. How does that one not just pop up immediately? You like that?
Can't think of the third. What's the third? Dwindle, dwelling.
Dwarf, bro.
Dwell, dwindle.
Yeah, There Will Be Blood was dope.
What's the third one? Don't tell me. Don't tell me. I can't think of it.
Man, I can't believe he's not getting this. Usually has it pretty quick. You're not going to get it.
Dwork. I mean, that's a word, I guess. Dwink. Can I get a widow dwink? Can I get a...
Come on, dude. Really? Flipping, man. Flipping, bro. Flipping bad, man. First time I've ever seen him struggle. Like,
I don't know. I can't think of anything. Dwight? I mean, that's a name. That's a given name. Dwight. I don't know. Tell me. What is it? Dwarf. I would have never gotten that. Dwarf. Ugh. Damn it. Well. It's over. Dweeb. Oh, yeah. I guess there's more. And Dwayne's. Nice. I got Dwindle already. Dwarf.
Yeah,
I would have
Dwarf,
never
I can't
gotten
believe
that.
he didn't get that. That one.
Ah, well, we
immediately, that
got
was
2 out of 3.
popped
That's
right
pretty
in my
good.
head.
Doodle Dream sent $20. Nick,
Yeah, but dude,
smile,
you
hope you're
could've
doing
had
good.
3.
This whole
Dwarf
Epstein
is a
thing has me kind of
common
down.
word, man.
Do you have a good joke you can maybe share, please? Like a knock knock one? Or,
Better at geography.
Doodle Dream sent $20. Sonic Roy sent $100. Can't believe people are hating on Elijah. The man is a patriot. He can sleep with whomever he wants.
People are just going crazy. It's like, okay, had an extramarital affair. I mean, I'm not justifying it, but it's like, okay. You think that is like never happened? People are treating it like it's, I don't know. I just feel like there's so much worse things, and it's like,
yeah.
Why?
We got the Epstein
because
shit.
that's all going according to plan, but everybody loses their minds. I'm not justifying it. Hang on. Just a little free thinking. It's like, okay, I mean, it's not the most insane thing I've ever heard of before in my life, but I appreciate the big super chat. Yeah, the self-righteousness, the moralizing, virtue signaling, it's really fucking stupid.
Main Groiper converts sent $20. The call for unity yesterday was awesome. If Epstein looked up from Jewish heaven and saw us all fighting a Groiper civil war, he'd be ecstatic. Love the show.
Yeah, okay, whatever.
Slight Lie Gypsy sent $100. Female army officer and a big fan. I'm annoyed I can't put my girls on, even though we're all educated and self-aware. Hoping that'll change eventually. I look forward to the show every night. Smile.
Thank you for the big super chat. Female army off. Whoa, hey, well. Can I just say, I don't want to say it. I don't want to come across too weird. Like, I don't want to say things that are too, because it's like, you could be candid up to a point, but then it gets weird. I'm just saying I like the uniform. That's all. Female army officer. Oh, no. Hey, I surrender. I stand down. No, hey, I appreciate the big super chat. Hey, don't shoot. I'm a patriot. Don't worry. Could you imagine if like a female army officer with like a ponytail pulled up in like a Jeep and a helmet? Well, no, helmet wouldn't be that hot. Helmet might ruin it. What if you saw her drinking out of a canteen and she like took her hair down and flipped it around with the fatigues, with the camo? Holy shit. That's crazy. I'm sort of like an army officer myself. I'm sort of like an officer, if you couldn't already tell, in the Groiper Intelligence Agency. I'm something of a CIA officer myself. Sort of a GIA officer. I sort of wear a lot of different hats around here. My dress blues for formal. And my dress blues. Anyway, what was the question? Thank you for the big super chat, female army officer. Hello. Something about that gets me going.
E-girls are hookers. Groiper sent $20. Faith Merrill would have done the same thing to you that Sarah did.
I've had like cosplayers slide into my DMs and like, it's super cringy, but it's also like, okay, it is kind of hot. Okay.
E-girls are hookers. Groiper sent $20.
Too much information.
Faith Merrill would have done the same thing to you that Sarah did. Rape Faith Merrill.
Oh, hey, shut the fuck up. We like Faith.
RLUB1SD sent $20. Inspired by your message last night about just getting started. Do you think Pusa is a good place to instill Groiper message, or should I just try for young Republicans instead? Love the show.
Okay, dude, I love when people just do
Rape
it.
and Heimer
Fully
sent $22.
send it.
Been watching / following on and off since high school. Graduating with PhD in nuclear physics at 24 this semester.
Wow.
3 patents already.
Wow.
Will be waiting for Secretary of Energy position in the 2036 administrator. Growing money and connections until then. Wearing Epstein QZ while doing one-arm pull-ups at uni gym. Redomax. 07.
Okay, you sound awesome. Why wait, dude? Get in the government now. Hook it up. You sound awesome.
Till this day sent $20. Martin Luther King Jr. was shot in the face with a 30.06 and the bullet lodged in his shoulder.
Mhm.
Charlie Kirk was also shot with a 30.06 and like MLK, there was no exit wound. Per MLK's autopsy, he was 5 feet 7 inches and 140 pounds per Kirk. He was 6 feet 5 inches, and I speculate he was 240 pounds. Kirk not having an exit wound is very plausible.
I totally agree. 100%.
Somalian Stink Terribly sent $20. The same people who will glaze Matt Walsh for giving them a crumb of Jewish power acknowledgement will call you a Fed. Consistency means nothing to them. I feel bad for you.
That's because I'm over the target.
Spazzer sent $25. Many Orthodox Christians love you, Nick. A lot of new converts get all fired up and want to dunk on Catholics/Protestants, but most of us are chill and love our Christian brothers. Despite our differences, it's one struggle.
Hey, thanks.
Lebanese English Grower sent $20. The essence of this Epstein thing is basically intelligent, informed people having a nuanced conversation about the implications of an intelligence mercenary blackmailing our elites and the effects this has on our system. And midway spotting into that same conversation with, hey, did you know torturing kids is bad?
Thank you for telling me.
GVNWHL sent $20. Pongoil, Donald John America is actually running society. Non-plan trusters need to shut the heck up, and anti-Gastonists need to be in prison for the most part, and we would live in paradise.
Okay, very good.
Theologian Grower sent $25. It's time the masses are red-pilled on Christianity. Catholicism can be proven with the correct information. Guys like Classical Theist, Christian B. Wager, Joshua Charles, Timothy Gordon, Kevin Fernandez, Taylor Marshall, once you get the right information there is no debate. This is objective truth.
I agree with you. I agree. I tip my hat
Thomas
to
Cruz
you.
sent
You're
$50.
right.
Did you catch the Hitler?
Top of the morning.
Thomas Cruz sent $50. Did you catch the Hitler versus Epstein UFC fight? Hitler by KO was so tough.
When me shit turns purple and smells
what
like
are we
Undercover
doing
for sent
here?
$20. Not to beat a dead horse.
That was
but
Brian Cox
jokes on Sarah and
from
Elijah.
Super
They trusted a Jew.
Troopers.
Don't go telling these people your innermost secrets and sins. Tell your priest.
Well, I think it got to him. Someone sent it to him.
Rex sent $20. Hello, Nick. I'm graduating this year with a CS degree. Friends and I have discussed applying to firms like Palantir to broaden the distribution of human capital for our side. From your POV, how do you assess the mix and pragmatic value between infiltration and building parallel institutions?
Just do whatever makes sense.
George sent $25. The Epstein pearl clutching from NPCs is too much. The number of chicks from my high school that would gloat about going to certain concerts when their favorite bands came to town expecting to hook you.
To hook up? Yeah. Yeah. Well, and look, you know what's funny? You know what's funny about like life is, let me tell you something. If you are like a hot girl, and even in some cases a hot guy, you have two options, okay? You can go to work for the rest of your life, which fucking sucks, and go to your job, which you hate, and where you actually have to provide a skill. And, you know, people be nice to you because you're hot, but you have to work. Or you can be a whore and live a really easy life and make tons of money. And it's like, we're going to pretend that all the people in the latter category are victims. If like a young girl who's attractive enough, she takes the easy road and says, I'm going to hang out with rich and famous people for shit tons of money. All I have to do is give the occasional blowjob.
Right? Like
we're going to have to pretend like she's a rape victim. That's ridiculous.
Like, it's
because that is honestly what happens.
They call it SA when in all reality, a lot of those women with Epstein, you know, a lot of them were getting paid and they probably knew what the deal was and they were fine with it. You know, when stuff comes out, of course they say, oh, you know, I was forced against my will, but this guy's a billionaire. There's a good chance that many of them were fine with it, or probably, you know, maybe it weren't all that averse to it. Honest, women don't seem all that averse to fucking. They seem to do it a lot with a lot of different people, and they don't have really standards even anymore. You know, any swinging dick will do.
That if you are an attractive young person, who is going to pay you to be attractive? Modeling agencies and guys that want to jack off. So, or fuck you, you know. That those are your options. And I think a lot of attractive people, especially attractive, very attractive, very young women, that's their play. You know, I want to be famous. I want to be an actress. Oh, I have no talent or personality. Okay, I'll be a whore. And we're going to say they're victims? Yeah, they were totally raped against their will. When they decided they didn't want to work for a living, it would be far easier to like give erotic massages to famous people. Like, okay.
Jesse sent $25. Did you notice how Muslims like Sneeko scold you for saying Epstein wasn't a pedophile because his victims were 14 plus, yet they also got mad at you for calling Muhammad a pedo because he raped a 9-year-old? Hypocrites. Christ is king.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Jews were bad sent $30. What happened to that black dude that got a brain injury? Did it fix his IQ?
Which black guy?
Andrew Jackson's eyebrows sent $20. Been reading the Federalist Papers a lot lately. I've never heard you talk about them. Maybe you disagree with them? Either way, I find them very inspiring. Just three Ogwang niggas talking about the future of their new country. They didn't even have Rumble and they made
literal
Canadian
pain,
chap sent $20.
dude.
Where all the base tratty Cathy's at. Juden Peterstein sent $25. You've got bigger fish to fry? Well, I've got bigger cocks to suck. According to the Clean Break memo, I am a sitting duck. I sat in the corner of the Abraham Accords, and I was called a cuck. In 1879 from the Eye of Ra, I was plucked. From my waistband I keep a stiffy tucked. Who am I?
Wow.
Pyro Alvanetta sent $20. What's up, Nick, fellow beaner from California? I've never sent a donation before, but I support what you have to say even though I'm brown. I hope I get the pass. All you do is spit facts like a real nigga. We gotta deport all those taking advantage of America.
Thanks, buddy. Well, I don't know, man. Let me see your papers. I appreciate the super chat, but I'm going to need to see your papers. You speak English? You sound Mexican. You speak English? Let me see your papers. You got a passport? I might even throw them in the back of my truck myself. Yeah, I just said that. Remember when Brian Kemp said that? I'll throw illegals in the back of my truck and take them there myself. I'll deport them myself. Yeah, I said that. I don't know, pal. Let's just say it's under review.
Will Stansel's Secret Roy Peralt sent $22. Good to see you back, Nick. Have you seen Robert Kraft's Blue Square to Stop Anti-Semitism Super Bowl ad? They so desperately want black leftists back on their side, or they at least are trying to convince
That
millions
is
they are.
so
Good
funny,
luck on Friday.
dude. This like Jew. This Jew has like a post-it note on his backpack that says "Dirty Jew," and the black guy says, "Don't listen to them." I know what it's like. They're literally saying like, "Let's team up against Whitey."
Limited Wang Out sent $20. You should buy Kick and rename it, Nick. Cramsauce06 sent $20.
Yeah.
My boyfriend and I really enjoy listening to your show every day at work. As young adults, we appreciate everything you are doing and advocating for. Stay safe. Always praying for you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Matt Larkin sent
Appreciate
$20.
it.
You did a podcast with Phil Labonte, who is the singer of All That Remains, and just gotta say it's so cool seeing my teenhood favorite metal artist, even till now, debate and even agree with you on a lot of things. A lot of grow-wipers are a fan of his band All That Remains. Ever listen to his music? If not, it's worth it.
I haven't, but I'm not really into metal. He was nice in person. I know he was critical of me in the past, but he was very nice in person. He had a great monologue during the show, and I was agreeing with everything he said. I mean, I feel like I had more overlap with him, ironically, than almost anyone on the panel, and we had been at odds before. So, yeah, it was great to meet him. He's a cool guy.
Leo Tony 81 sent $20. Great show as always. It's always hard not to want to counter friends and family on social media on topics such as ICE. My dad says it's not good to argue with family about politics, though. God bless.
Okay, thank you.
Joe Schmo sent $20. Not to glaze, but you continue to elevate the meaning of your message. This Epstein chapter proves it. You are like Achilles from the movie Troy. My brothers of the sword. Let no man forget how menacing we are. We are lions. You know what's there, beyond the leftist communist goy slop. Immortality, take it. It's yours.
So cringe.
I just question, like, what kind of person writes that and unironically thinks it's cool? You're like that guy from the movie. Beyond the leftist communist goy slop. Oh, gosh. It's just like...
Oh, God.
That is so cringe.
He's such an overactor.
I don't know what you guys like. I don't know. The way you people live is mystifying.
Acts 14 to 2 sent $50. Nick, what am I? An apparent opponent is covertly influenced, funded, tolerated, or steered by the same power it claims to oppose, in order to manage dissent, shape outcomes, or prevent real change. The key feature isn't disagreement. It's that the opposition is structurally incapable of winning or meaningfully disrupting the system it criticizes.
Okay, we're doing like low IQ riddles now.
Christ-centric 333 sent $20. Don't you know Ye is always ahead of the game? He's apologizing in advance. Southside Grow Wiper sent $25. You should tell Hassan Piker to slide in Aspen Cartier's DMs. Maybe they can bond over both getting banned on Twitch for abusing animals. Look her up. She's low-key worse than him. Broken heart emoji.
Who fucking cares? Why would
Floribama
I do
Groy sent $100. Tons of Grow Wipers at the James Fishback event tonight in NSB. Great meeting some of you. America
Hey,
first is
let's
inevitable.
go. Thank you for the big
New
super
Smyrna
chat,
Beach,
W
baby.
Fishback.
Living
the
Legal 11 sent
goat.
$25. Would you ever consider making a Crisis King line of merch? Keep up the good work.
fucking
God
lived
Would I
bless.
there
ever?
for a little while. But you know what's crazy? Fishback was, I think, yesterday or the day before, the dude was 5 minutes from my fucking house. 5 minutes from my house, man. And I didn't know it until, like, literally 5 minutes. I did not know it until I saw his shit on, like, on the internet. Like, you know, he was live or talking to people. And I'm like, no way, man. I could have walked there. Like, he probably won't come back.
All time, consider that? I think I might.
Valor Merc sent
I think I
$20.
would.
Magashils need to realize we will.
In an infinite timeline, would I ever consider it? I imagine the thought would cross my mind.
Valor Merc sent $20. Magashils need to realize we will all be better off if they just let it go. The reason the left controls the discourse is because the right chooses to defend Trump, who has a terrible record and is corrupt instead of presenting our ideas and getting smarter.
That's
the left
so
avoided this
dumb.
mistake with Biden for the most part.
That's retarded.
Oops, sorry, Dare sent $20. What are your 3 must-try restaurants/eateries/pizzerias in the Brookfield area? Others have recommended Tony's Family Restaurant, Lou Malnati's and Paisan's Pizzeria. Honorable mentions, Cozy Corner and Pop's Beef. Not going further east of Brookfield into Chicago.
Okay, For You page getting a little too personal. For You page getting a little too close. Why would I put you on? You think I want to bump into you at a fucking restaurant? Favorite restaurants in Brookfield? Jeez. Jeez, oh man, that's
Hobioki 1 sent
crazy.
$20. Galatians 5:14. The entire law is fulfilled in keeping this one command: love your neighbor as yourself. These people hate themselves, hence their hatred of others. Christ is king.
Well said.
And sent $20. Where is Saudi on all of this? Can the Houthis deter them?
Deter the Saudis? The Saudis are not pushing a war. What are you talking? You know, people think they know what they're talking about. You have no idea what
Judy
you're
Newcomb
talking
10
about.
sent $20. Hey Nick, it's honestly hard to see
Crazy.
JD going downhill the way he is. I think he would be a great leader, but I'm just
Oh
not down
my
with him. I
gosh.
thought he was a real nigga for a while, but I was wrong.
Kill
Salute.
yourself.
Burndo
Yeah.
27 sent
Wrong
$20.
about
Can't believe
everything.
people are still enlisted in the military SD this point if they know who we are truly there for.
They're there for Israel.
Goyman Abundas sent
Good point.
$25. Some retard who said he went to your high school is using you to advertise his shitty music.
Yeah, I saw that.
Sarah Stock using the same hand for the ring reveal photo that she used to slip a. The red pill chigger sent $20. This is regarding your input on Sarah's infidelity scandal. Nick, women need to understand in the next 10 to 15 years. Their little 19th Amendment will be gone. Their family court system and policies will be gone. And the penalty for paternity fraud/cheating will return to default. Defending female infidelity is pure simping.
Holy LARP. They need to understand that. Yeah, shut the fuck up, dude. You're a pussy.
Constantine Groyer sent $20. How does
People
anybody
are
trust a gay Jew who
terrible,
nicknamed
man.
himself Nero, Roman emperor who built a great circus to kill Christians for entertainment? Jews and their subtle symbolism.
Yeah, super subtle, by the way. Guy's named after the Antichrist. It's
Boogly
crazy.
Woogly sent $20. So everything we've seen on the DL in the last few days was the planned trusters autistic screeching over your vindication on the live mass deportations becoming undeniable and becoming unelectable in 28.
Mhm.
Spazzer sent $20. My theory is that the CIA just uses this remote viewing nonsense to avoid documenting their real source of intel. Source? It came to me in a dream.
Yeah, maybe.
Lawson sent $20. Would love to hear your take on traditionalism and writers like Danan and Ebola.
I'm not a capital T traditionalist. I just don't think it's real. I'm a Catholic. I don't think Catholic is a perennialist religion or capital T traditionalist, actually.
Burndo 27 sent $20. JD knows where the gold's at. Sexy and Unique sent $100. Sorry I joined late. I know you're a fan of Goatee. Have you seen the new series about Sarah Duncan the doll? Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. Also, I'm a new viewer. Have you read the books of Asoyaf? Red heart emoji.
A Song of Ice and Fire? No, I haven't. Thank you for the big super chat. I appreciate it. No, I'm not the kind of guy that reads Game of Thrones books, okay? I watch the show because whatever, but like, did you read the Game of Thrones novels? No. I don't read fantasy novels. Why would I read that?
X02 sent $20.
I
on Goyim.
appreciate the big super chat,
X02
though.
sent $20. On Goyim. God
That's
bless.
on Goy.
Nord's Giles 3D sent $20. Have you watched The Vampire Diaries?
No.
Sexy and Unique sent $50. Clad is a drug addict who appeals to other men. No
So
self-respecting
true.
woman finds anything he says, does, or appears to be physically attractive.
That's
What's
just-
America first about plastic surgery and faggotry?
Ugh, women are so disgusting in the way that they talk. Obviously, that's a lie. Women throw themselves at him. He fucks women every day like he's a total Chad. What are you talking about, you fucking idiot? No self-respecting woman finds anything he says, does physically. Dude, everybody's physically attracted to him. He goes to the club and they fucking throw themselves at him. What are you talking about? That's totally insane. He talks to them however he wants and they still throw themselves at him because that's what women are. Women are shallow. So, and the whole drug addict thing, it's like, shut up. Like, what? The drug, that's just like so fake. And what does that have to do with being what's America first about plastic surgery and faggotry? I hate when women, whenever they don't like something, they just emasculate the man. Oh, small dick. Oh, you're a faggot. Oh, you're a beta male. Oh, you're like your father. It's like women need to be punched in the mouth who say that. By definition, it's not faggotry. It's like, he has dedicated his life to aesthetic excellence. Do you understand? You would never understand that because you're a frivolous woman.
Oh, it's kind of
Because you are
funny
frivolous.
too, is if you read the Bible, if you actually read it, Paul straight up says that celibacy is actually a better path to serving God than marriage. You can get closer to God, serve God more. Like Christianity isn't just about the family. Living a godly life and serving God, that's as good. Just as fulfilling as having a family. So this talking about, people and deriding them because they're incels or they're celibate, actually they're closer to God, a more godly human being than most people. And certainly just as masculine as anybody else. masculinity has nothing to do with a family and children. You don't need a family and children to be masculine. You don't need a family and children to like you don't like that's not a prerequisite. You can be a man and not have those things. That's perfectly acceptable. Always has been.
Woman, you have no opinions. You don't even know what you're saying. You don't have a point. Years ago, when Clav was younger, and he did a rant about this, which I'm glad I saw this because I always felt that this was the case. He took all of the available scientific means and applied them to achieving this ideal, to achieving this goal. And what if someone sacrificed everything? What if someone was doing that every day? Every therapy, every treatment, every innovation. What if somebody would dedicated their life to staying on top of it for the advancement of humanity? I mean, really, he's like a pioneer. Who else is doing this? You know, there's talk about mewing and bone smashing and this kind of stuff. Who else takes it seriously and says, I'm going to do surgical methods, experimental peptides, I'm going to do hormone treatment and supplements and all this kind of stuff, and I'm going to take it all the way. No one else is doing this. Who else is doing this? That makes him a pioneer. There's nothing whiter than this. This is what it is to be white. Because somewhere out there, some white guy said, excuse me, Charles Darwin went on the Galapagos Island and said, I am going to categorize every bird and every lizard and every fish that I can find. That's why we have evolution. That's why we have biology. That's why, somebody said, I'm going to figure out the movement of the fluids in the human body. And that's why we have surgery and medicine. That's what it is to be white. Someone somewhere said, I am going to think through these problems about matter, about chemistry, about the elements, about the stars, about
millions and millions and millions of people would have died without penicillin. Like most of us would be dead. We would have gotten an infection. We've all had infections. We would be dead. Infections were like a death sentence.
Science of politics and what it is to be a good ruler. That is why we have what we have, because somebody said, I'm going to give my life to something. And I'll be my own guinea pig. So no, I actually respect it. And I admire it.
What we have today.
You call it faggotry. You say, well, it's not for women. Yeah, fuck you. Of course it's not for women. Women are easy. Of course it's not for women. Women are, you throw them a bone, they chase it. I mean, he only appeals to other men. Yeah, because men actually think about the world. Men actually think about knowledge. What do you think about? Women are completely vapid. Women can't name 3 countries. Women say stupid shit like, I need a man that makes $1 million a year. They don't even know what that means.
Yeah.
Women are like, I want a G-Wack.
They want a man that makes $1 million a year, but they don't want an ambitious guy. They want a guy who's going to be able to come home and help them with the chores, help them with dishes, the laundry, the kids. They also want to make $1 million a year. And those two worlds, ne'er shall the two meet. Never happened. You don't become a millionaire by helping your wife wash the dishes. It just doesn't happen.
It's like, you don't know fucking anything. You just saw that on Instagram, you idiot. Women are so shallow and simple. He's not doing it for women even. He's doing it for men, and that's gay. He's doing it for mankind. He's doing it because it matters. He's doing it because it's interesting. He's doing it, So women don't like him, blah, blah. You're right. He isn't doing it for that. That is a bonus. And I advocate for this. I tell men, pursue excellence in your field. Dedicate your life to something. Give yourself fully to philosophy, art, science, business, theology, religion, God. Give yourself fully to something, and it will take you places. And yes, in the course of that, yeah, you'll accrue benefits like attention from women and life satisfaction and fulfillment and adventure, but you got to sort of decide that you're going to do that first. And then the women are, the hoes are a byproduct. Hoes are just out there, and hoes will fuck anything that is talked about, that has money, that other men are paying attention to. So, the hose overfloweth, okay? No self-respecting woman finds anything he does attractive. Yeah, well, maybe we don't care. Maybe we're not trying to
maybe it has
appeal
nothing
to
do
vapid
with you,
women.
ladies. Like,
Maybe we're trying to find something from within ourselves. Maybe we're trying to prove something.
Men's lives don't start and stop with. I mean, I guess they can, but typically, people in the past, especially, you pursued your dreams, and when that started to seem like it's not going to happen, you settled with a family. You got a family as a consolation prize, but everybody at least tries to make them leave a mark on the world, blaze a trail. And it's usually not about what women will think of them doing it. Like exploring countries and stuff. Guys didn't do that for the women.
To ourselves, about ourselves.
Doing the Wild West, living without
Have you
women,
ever stopped and thought
or
that?
having
Of
one
course
woman
not,
to 50
because you
guys?
don't think, because you don't stop and ever think about anything other than fucking shoes and shopping and vacations, and that's such a typical female thing to say.
He even said
to not get it. I get it. I understand.
That there's a lot of
That's
purpose
why.
in the world.
What's America First about
outside of
plastic
women.
surgery? Shut up. For you, plastic surgery is like a boob job so that, I don't know, like a rich guy will have sex with you. No, we're talking about plastic surgery to achieve aesthetic excellence, to like a scientific, he's made it a science. We're not even talking about a physical appearance that is conventionally attractive. We're talking about a physical appearance that is scientific perfection.
Funny you say that about women. I was talking to my brother earlier, and people saying women are more emotionally intelligent and more empathetic. It's like, no, they're not. They're just capricious, and they act on their feelings without even thinking. They're just feelings. They're just a ball of feelings. Like, there's no introspection. They never sit down and think about what they're feeling and parse it out. They just react. They're just impulses, compulsively reacting to all the stimuli they come in contact with. They're just not reasoning. Like, they don't spend all their day thinking, like those memes about guys in the Roman Empire. It is what it is, and we're different, and men have a different life goals or life targets, things that they're aiming at, and women have their own.
Harmony and balance and proportions and ratios. It's mathematical. The point is not to be conventionally attractive, to be pretty boy swag so that you get attention from girls like Justin Bieber. It is literally to achieve mathematical, scientifically proven physical perfection, to see if it can be done, to push the boundaries of science. That's what that is.
That's the West, man.
And no one else is doing it. And I don't encourage everybody to do this. I tell people you should not do this, because I think a lot of people, they just they want more pussy. They want to be famous. They are just mindless followers. I don't think people should do drugs. I don't think people should do what he does. But I think that he is doing something which is very interesting. And whether you support it or not, I think it's interesting. And, you should talk to people about ideas. Michael Knowles brings him on the show, and he's like, so you hit yourself in the face with a hammer. Get a load of this, am I right? And it's like, okay. And you wonder why, we have a society of NPCs. Anyway, so you don't understand. I wouldn't expect you to.
America First 17.
Nick, move on from this. Quit promoting this fag. Okay, you're just an idiot. I don't want idiots watching my
America
show.
First 1776 sent $20. JD Vance made a big mistake condemning you and the Grow Wipers. This administration is failing and he expects young men to support him by default. We won't show up. The VP beefing with you just gives you aura.
Yeah, I know. I know what it does.
Freedom Club sent $25. JD Vance Netflix movie sucked. White trash goes to Yale, doesn't know what fork to use at fancy dinner. Goes home and they make him a bologna sandwich which he likes. PLS clap and make him president.
Yeah, it's so disgusting.
Almost Blue Grow Wiper sent $20. Love you, Nick, and you were smart as fuck, but this one trad girl turned out to be a horse, so dating online prostitutes is better as a retarded take. Hyping up OF whores isn't helping anything.
You're just like subhuman. You should die.
Our Lady of Glory sent.
You really deserve, like, you're just literally a subhuman.
Our Lady of Glory sent $20. Trump calls things that please the beast.
Love you and you're smart, but sorry, that's not a good take. Like, literally kill yourself.
Our Lady of Glory sent
Actually kill
$20.
yourself.
Trump calls things that please the beast good and things that anger it bad. He cannot comprehend the nature of good differing from the nature of the necessary. Plato or some shit.
Okay.
Adfast sent $20. The stock market is likely at the beginning of a multi-month or year-long downturn. Could even be the AI bubble popping. Do you have any insights or speculation about how this, or even a recession, might affect the movement?
I love your little information at the beginning. Thanks, financial analyst. Could be the AI bubble popping. Thank you, financial analyst.
Botslop sent $85. How are the edits chosen for the lobby? Do people just tweet them to you or DM a team member? I've been editing for a few years and I'd like to contribute. Hope you're keeping the cortisol low today. God bless. Practically jumping up and down flagging over the Jeffrey Epstein super show tomorrow.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate the... Yeah, that's crazy. Thanks for the big super chat. I don't know how they... I don't make it. I don't know
Catherine
how they
Alexandria sent $20. Handing out shame sentences is so Protestant coded. Leave that to God and the priests they confess to.
It's so true.
Stoops sent $20. The Vatican is run by Jews. Nostra Aetate was written by a Jew.
Dude, you're a
Julander
Jew.
sent $20. It's over for you, Nick. Robert Kraft's Super Bowl ad about anti-Semitism is about to change everything.
Very
Fuzzy
good.
Slipper sent $100. Thanks for the show, Nick. Nomadic Turkic tribe has been the vocal stim all week.
Nomadic Turkic tribe. Thank you for the big super chat. Yeah, she's crazy.
Drinking horchata flavored breast milk from Mousie's massive abuelita torpedo tits Groy percent $100. They go crazy though, right?
It's just like not funny at all.
Jeremiah P sent $100. Have you seen Candace's Dear Erica vid? All of the comments are total slop. If anything happens to her after this, we know who did it. Like brother, give it a rest already.
It's like I just can't even.
Centurion
It's
Barina
insane.
sent $100. Flamboyant.
Yep, thank you for the big
Sexy
super
Angelique
chat.
sent $50.
So
Second gen Irish
true.
American. 24 years old. 5 feet 3 inches. Blonde hair, blue eyes. Fat ass perky titties, but I'm 100 pounds on a normal day. Healthy, athletic, no plastic surgery. Catholic, obviously. Say yes, no, or maybe.
Can we just stop, please? Like, please, let's just stop. 24.
Brody Creed sent
I don't
$20.
know.
This is Brody Creed, the 16-yo from Friday. Thanks for the advice on starting my own show. I've been mainly interviewing political candidates and trying to be moderate and careful. Thanks again.
Dude, the self-dox is crazy, but thanks. I hope it's going well for
Oval
you.
had sent $20. Do you think while reading the word cadence her internal voice sounds it out as her own name? Shavery sent
Yeah, I
$20.
guess,
If
bro.
DHS/ICE actually wanted to deport anyone, they would.
I guess, bro. Yeah. I guess.
Shavery sent $20. If DHS/ICE actually wanted to deport anyone, they would be parked at every way station, rest stop, and truck stop in America 24/7.
Yeah.
I'm a trucker. All these places are like the
I
third
know.
world. New Brewer 99 sent $100. Someone close to me is very supportive of JD. He's about 2 degrees of separation away from JD and loves this fucking dude. I'm gonna have to fight him on this. Never Vance.
That's crazy. Thanks for the big super chat. It's totally crazy. It's like
Francesco
insane.
sent $100. Milo on a purity spiral? Wow. Really? Such a shameless opportunistic little fairy. He should stick to taking it up his fag ass. Gonna need a note from his doctor to say he doesn't like to suck cock. Then maybe I'll take him serious. THX4 show goat raw XD.
Thank you for the big super chat.
Do not
yeah,
look
that's
up
the
Milk
irony. It's like, okay, now the talking cheese is going to talk to us. You're going to get read the riot act by a guy that was married to a black person, a black man. Really? But self-awareness
Connecticut
is
Affair sent $20.
missing.
Quick look smacks is for you. White strips for teeth. Potassium intake would accentuate cheekbones and improve facial leanness by countering sodium. An occasional
Okay.
diet Dr. Kelp wouldn't hurt either.
Thank you.
Johnny Walker into War Room sent $25. Remember Ashton Birdie? Just today learned she crashed out and has enough now. I remember watching her stream with her in like 2018.
Really?
Hashtag childhood ruin moment. This is why it's no e-girls not even once.
She's got an OnlyFans? That's crazy. Yeah, well, we all knew that was going to happen.
Go JD sent $20. Hail Thomas Sewell, a real wank.
No. Talk real fucking LARPer, more like. Real Wang half, more like real LARP.
Catholic Texan sent $30. Been watching you every day since the Tucker interview. I'm a 3-time Trump voter, and I regret not watching you sooner. You have been right about everything. This administration has been a sham. America first. Never
Thanks,
Vance.
man. Appreciate it, buddy. Yeah, I hear you. I warned people in 24, but you're late to the party. That's
Low
okay.
IQ Roy percent $20. If Epstein is alive in Israel playing Fortnite, then what are the odds that he also watches the show? He's probably a big fan. Ordered a quarter zip and signed up for America First Plus Ultra membership.
Probably, yeah.
Fireman 362 sent $25. Nick, are you aware that the only reason anyone even watches this show is because we're all just waiting for you to end this act and finally admit that the Bear Cave vastly outnumbered?
No.
Oh, that again.
Steve
love
Swan
it.
sent $20. All of us going to need to stick together against our Jewish oppressors. Please recognize that David Duke, PhD, has worked tirelessly his whole life and sacrificed greatly to expose their perfidious machinations against
It's
Uskoy.
just
And everything he
like-
does is still thoroughly censored by them.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Appreciate
Monkey Boy
it.
696 sent $20. Pretty rude of you to say all service workers suck. Some of us are hardworking Catholics just making a living. Lamau 22-year-old running my own
gosh.
grocery store, proudly repping the AF merch all the time.
Okay, what do you want? You want a cookie?
It's so tiresome.
Well, I'm a service worker, and that doesn't apply to me. Oh, okay. Next time I'll say every service worker except this guy and other people. Grow up, dude. Like, please. I'm begging you. Please. Do you know how hard it is to read this stuff every day? It's like service workers are terrible. Well, but I'm a service worker and I'm not. Like and it's like, oh my gosh. Like, we actually live in hell. Like, I fucking hate these people. I hate these people so much. It's like, I just, what do you even say to that? Like, where do you even start? Like, I'm doing a show and I'm like, I always say I hate blue collar workers. I hate service workers because they always mess up my order. You know what I mean? And the guy goes, wait, I'm a service worker and I'm not like that. You shouldn't say that. And it's like, like, oh,
people call you on.
Okay, bro, I guess. It's like, okay, okay, bro, I guess. Like, and you get this like 50 times a day, every day for 10 years. It's like, Elohim, you know, not to be like blasphemous, like, why am I being forsaken? Like, this is terrible. This is a terrible situation that we find ourselves in. Ugh. Not to be black, but it's like, I feel forsaken. Like, we are in hell. Like, this is torture. I'm dying here. Every night, what was the other guy? David Duke is a part of our movement. What was the other one? The girl from earlier. This.
I make you laugh.
I mean, it's actually psychologically painful. Like, it's hard to differentiate between physical and psychological pain. Excuse me.
Fighting a line. I sent $50. As a self-proclaimed leader in a historic effort to save the white race, why don't you work with adjacent platforms, boost other voices? Why affiliate with people that are degenerate, gay, etc.?
Okay.
I saw a post on a guy named Ali Alexander. Elijah is gay. The dates are claims. This is the same inclusive populism you once fought against, but without Zionism.
Yeah, okay.
Rin here sent $20. I'm a Canadian junior that also does Model N. Went to men too. I plan to start a Nick Shirley style channel, but advisors threaten me to not talk about natives here, LGBTQ, Muslims, etc. As an immigrant, or I will get deported / prosecuted / future ruined. I came here as a young child and love this country and want to fix what to do.
I don't know, man. Get a life. Like, figure out your own problems.
Irishman has sent $20. Retatrotide plus cardio has me down 10.
I want to start a Nick Shirley style channel. I'm going to stop you right
just
there.
Do it, you fucking
don't
idiot.
like, just please don't. You know, like, okay. Everyone's already doing that. Okay. Everybody already saw how much money Nick Shirley made, and they're all doing that now. Like, if you heard about it, it's already too late. You got to get in on the next big thing. Okay.
You have to actually be, creative.
I want to start a Nick Shirley style channel, but
ahead of its time.
I'm being threatened by like my teachers. Like, okay, I guess, bro. I don't know, man. Wait till you graduate.
Irishman has sent $20. Retatrotide plus cardio has me down 10 pounds in 2 weeks. Co-worker said my face looked sharper this morning. Lena's Law. 2000 kids sent $20. Hey Nick, been mainly with Crowder since 2016 and tuned into you after CK. 5 months of watching you almost every day and going back through your story. It's incredible how much you've called correctly. Proud to say I'm officially with AF now.
Let's
God
go.
Bless. Keep pushing forward, brother.
Thank you very much. Appreciate
LSU Grower
it.
sent $20. Joe Webb in 2028.
I like Joel a lot. I don't know if I could vote for a Protestant.
Yeah, but he's young.
No, I'm kidding. I would probably vote for Joel. He's like pretty
10
hardcore
years.
though. But yeah, why not? Maybe you should run.
Pete Pod sent $20. Yo, got my merch. The Epstein zip is fire. One slight issue, it has this faint curry smell that I can't seem to get rid of no matter how many times I put it through the wash. My mom doesn't like me wearing it around the house.
Okay.
And Ailey sent $150 for future burnings.
Thank you for the big super chat. Everything burns. I appreciate it. You know what I like about Epstein quarter zips? They're cheap. They're cheap. This town deserves a better class of Groiper, and I'm going to give it to him. Yeah. Yep. Very good. I don't know if that's
He looks
what you
like
meant
he
by
could
that.
be,
That's where I took it, though. Thank you for the big super
Rowdy Rebel
chat.
237 sent $20.
I mean, he
Serious
looks
about
like he'd
immigration?
be a
One word,
Holy
employers.
hot take
Go with
alert.
Knight sent $20. So how are things going with your plan to come to Ohio to campaign against Vivek the Anchor
Straight
Baby?
up, man.
We're on the way.
The Memer sent $20. The Republican
Hurtling
Party hasn't been
towards
for
you.
deporting illegals since Eisenhower and Operation Wetback until we get an actual
man.
America First candidate they can fuck off.
Oh my, whoa.
Duncan Muffin sent $20.
Holy
Long-time lurker.
aura.
A couple of my friends said I was crazy for watching you, but after the browning of our city since 2020, they've been literally mugged by reality at 7-Eleven. Thinking about picking up a few quarter zips for the squad low. Thank you.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, get a few. You know, fill up your cart.
Diddy
Get
Sprinkles
10.
sent $50. Went to the DMV
They made great gifts. They made great gifts for Valentine's Day. That special someone, heart-shaped pizza, Epstein quarter zip. They made great gifts for your dad, your mom, brother, son, girlfriend, wife. So yeah, check it out. Check it out. They
Diddy
make
Sprinkles
great
sent $50.
gifts.
Went to the DMV today. Saw the funniest boomer crash out of all time. Ended with the man saying you doggone N-words never change, lol, QR codes and boomers don't work. I felt bad. Just help the guy.
Oh, that's crazy. It's
Lord
funny,
Negan sent
though.
$20. Elite overproduction explains Tucker. At the desk of Empire, some lower elite split off to join with the burghers and working class to revolt against the nobility. Zios. Predictive history. Jang.
It's okay, bro, I guess. Like, it's really not that deep.
Matthew P. as a troll, please remove him, sent $20.
Elite overproduction. He's a CIA agent. It's not that like he's literally a fucking CIA agent. Elite overproduction explains Tucker, according to Predictive History Channel that I discovered a year ago after the war with Iran. Okay, bro, I guess. Like, he's just, he's not siding. You're so fucking stupid. He's not siding with the working class. He's with the intelligence agencies. He is a handshake between the rubes that want to burn it all down and the system that wants to get them to relax.
Matthew P. as a troll, please remove him, sent $20. 26-year-old in Nebraska got arrested for dating an 18-year-old. Looks like it's time for the coming of the Messiah, Epstein. Wouldn't this just be plain ageism? How come there are talks of racism and sexism, but not ageism? Whatever lowers the birth rate, I guess.
So true, King. Very
Pedro
true.
Ostencio sent $25. Hey, Nick, if you could travel back in time and slap anybody in the face and get away with it, who would it be?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
My Galfast sent $20. Do you think people are born with high intelligence or is it more of a discipline? I really admire people with a high intellect and an ability to articulate thoughts. I just feel so dumb sometimes.
They probably are. You're definitely born with it. Do you think people are born with high intelligence? That 100 fucking %. Yeah, you're either born smart or you're born poor.
If he sent 20,
that's it.
Right.
That's all there
0321
is.
sent $20.
They
I guess I'm
test you
Hitler.
for that shit.
Yusuf Swalakol sent $20. Do you like going to the zoo? I like seeing the monkeys play
They
and swing
pluck
around
the
and shit.
smart kids
Especially
right
like the
up.
squirrel monkeys. So full of
They
energy.
see who they are. They
Amazing.
Ellen at Cam sent $100. Hi Nick, this is Ellen of Catholics Against Militarism. I don't care about doxing myself.
make the
A few
grade.
months ago, you said on your show that you'd never heard a good
Get a
explanation for
special
God
ride.
commanding genocide in the Old Testament. I invite you to check out Cam episode 104,
Okay.
2700 to 4600 mark. I hope it is helpful to you and maybe some of your listeners as well. God bless.
Thank you for the big super chat, the
Katie
recommendation. I
Sprinkles sent
appreciate
$50.
it.
Candace, you is kind, you is smart, you is important. Nick stays undefeated. Lol, if you remember the ending to that movie, don't ever let Candace make you any pies LMFAO.
Very good, yes.
Joseph Popovich sent $20.
remember.
My old high school teacher said her son remembered you coming to Model UN nearby. Crazy how small the world is. Been
Yeah.
here since the beginning and happy to see how
Wow.
the movement has grown. Cheers from Harwood Heights in Norwich.
Who was the teach? Oh, yeah, I was in the Model UN. Those were the days before I became a legend. I was a legend at Model UN. I would walk in the committee room and people would be like, oh, shit, it's him. I've seen him before. We can't beat him. Have to join him. Now, I'm not even exaggerating. I'm not even horror farming. By my junior, senior year, I would walk in the room and people would be like, oh shit, we got to fight with him. And one guy was like, at the end, I'm like, why aren't you even trying to win? And he's like, well, I can't beat you. He's like, so I'm just going to try to go for second place. I was like, oh, it's a good plan. I was very good. And I had aura. People knew me. People recognized me. I was like a celeb. I was hot on the circuit. On the old Model UN circuit. Those were the days. Yeah. I got cheated a lot, though, because, you know, I wanted to play my way. And my way was I was there to get the job done. And they wanted you to build consensus. So I was there to, like, sponsor every resolution, get everything I wanted. And they were like, no, you need to, like, bring everybody together and get everybody to agree on one thing. So it was a lot of stuff
lot
like
of
that. But good
feminine
times,
coded
man. I used
shit.
to love it.
Bro, that was them trying to wear Nick down and you know, mold him or craft him into the shape that they wanted. They were trying to, I mean, he was thinking like a man. He was pursuing like a man would. And they're like, no, 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 no. You don't get it. This is, you know, we're trying to make a female world out of world that, you know, we've already got it from no longer a man's world. Now we're trying to tip the other direction. Bro, we got to do something about this.
Good times. The old Model UN. To be 15 again. To be 15 at... And honestly, you know what's so sad? I don't think I'll ever be happier than I was in high school like that. You know what I mean? I know people say, well, when you have kids, that'll change, or, you know, whatever. But I think about the excitement, the anticipation, getting ready to go to the conference, and you're at the hotel with all your buddies, and you go to the thing, and like, and I know it's trite, but it's so true. That's such a simple time in your life, and the pleasures are very simple, and I don't think I'll ever have a better time. I don't think I'll ever be as excited for anything ever again than when I was like a young man going to some stupid like role play convention for political nerds.
You'll never have less to worry about.
What's sad about life is that you
more going for yourself.
Never get to go in the opposite direction. And I was always acutely aware of it. It's why I was always sad. Because I always knew that my youth was fleeting and everything that comes with it. And I was acutely aware that once it passes, it's past. Gone. Once you finish high school, you finish with that kind of stuff. You're just on the other side, and it just gets further and further in the rearview mirror. And you sort of, there's something kind of like, there's something freaky about it where the day after you graduate high school, it's the closest you'll ever be to that moment in your life. And yet you couldn't be further away in a sense. You know what I mean? Like the day after you graduate, it's like you were in high school yesterday and you talked to all those people yesterday, but you're never going back.
Yep. It took
and you'll just get further. You know what I mean? So it's like there's this weird, it's like you're on the other side of a door that you can't pass through again.
And what's weird about it was I got my GED when I was 16. Like I just left and got my GED because it was just women. You know, I was like, dude, I can't listen to you. I don't want to do what you say. But I left, got my GED until I was like 19, man, maybe even 20. Still thought about like, man, maybe I could just go back and not tell them I got my GED. And then, you know, like when I turned 21, bro, I thought about it a lot. Like, man, I can't go back. Too old, I can't go back. It really messed with me. I don't know what it was, man, about getting out of school, but it wasn't cool.
And then you just get older and older. Just get older and older and more cynical, and your problems add up, and you know, everything just gets less exciting, and
it
it's
goes
just
faster and faster and faster.
You know how it goes.
So you're dead.
So, hey, if you're one of these younger guys, enjoy it while you can. I mean, you know, life is okay. Life is good.
It's not
the different stages of life.
It's something
it all has, and I know people say this too, and this is also true that every stage of life, the few stages of life that I've lived, they're all good in their own way and bad in their own way.
Love. Oh, cut out.
We're really at a crossroads.
So, you know, I know exactly what
Look around you. It's drag queens in schools. It's 18-year-olds. Do not look up Milk TV. Let me see.
Yeah, this was.
Yeah, I felt bad for her after this one. Let me get it up on the screen. She responds to the Candace Can't Read Twitter account. I'll pull it up. I'll show you.
Ignorant, so bad.
This is good stuff.
And so because they're like running out of things to say about me, their new push is just that I'm stupid. Candace is dumb. She's really stupid. She mispronounced a word. We're going to go scroll through 300 episodes and look, She meant to say revelations, but she said relevations. She's ignorant. So Ben is so obviously answering a question that is asked by his producer, and they just like push any mistake I make, anything. They just like push through the algorithm. People make videos. Sometimes it's not even a mistake. Like when I was talking about temperature, and they made it such a big deal about what temperature water freezes at, as if they don't understand that if it's 30 degrees outside, it's warmer in some spots and cooler in other spots. It's warmer at my deck. Do you guys know about the sun rising? And like it's warm on one side of the house. That's right. It's so ridiculous. They tried to push this through. Like, it was just
cringe.
Ridiculous. Like I'm like, it's 40 degrees on my deck,
really embarrassed.
and the snow is not melting. It's 32 degrees here in Nashville. You're
Really
like, she's an
embarrassed she brought
idiot.
this up.
She doesn't understand.
She wants
The
to
snow
defend
doesn't
herself.
melt. Anyway, you're gonna watch Ben Shapiro because this is their new thing. Candace is an idiot. Ask himself a question so he can answer it. And I love that it's kind of their natural route too, because like when you start to learn like the real history behind the slave trade, Benny boy, I'm ignorant, but not that ignorant. And you know he just so badly just wants to hard R it. Like he's like that. They're at the point now where they're like, how could we basically just like call her the N-word, but like not fall into like just saying the N-word? Like I don't want to be Nick Fuentes, but like Ben, I'm gonna give you an N-word pass. Just say it. Just get it off your chest. You'll give it. That's what it means, right? Like an ignorant black person. Stop having people scroll through every second of my show trying to find me mispronouncing words.
Oh man, I feel sorry for her. Actually, I actually feel bad for her. Clearly, she is very self-conscious about it, deeply offended. I do feel a little bit bad. Didn't she say?
Or wait, I'm sorry, I don't speak German.
Blitzkrieg.
Just get it off your chest.
It is funny.
It's like that TikTok sound. Like, okay, let's just make fun of the girl that tried to you know what I'm talking about? What's that TikTok sound? Okay, everyone's just gonna attack this girl that tried to blah blah blah. It's like, Candace, come on. It actually hurts my feelings a little bit. Makes me sad. Poor Candace. You know, what's really not cool, then she plays the race card.
Right?
Well, why didn't you just call me a nigger? Oh, I'm a dumb black person. Well, why didn't you just call me the N-word then? It's like, Candace, come on. Candace, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Candace, you is smart. You is kind. You is important.
I would not allow this woman. I wouldn't allow my
Come on,
show her
Candace.
like
it's okay.
No fuck.
I feel a little bad. I feel like we bullied this poor girl. This poor girl just wanted to, I don't know, start a witch hunt. This poor girl just wanted to start a shamanistic witch hunt against Turning Point USA, and everyone called her stupid, and now she's like, it's like when you say that thing that's too far and then